This is the MLW Radio Network.
Welcome, everybody, to the Mind of the Meanie, your weekly peek into the world according to former WWE and ECW wrestler, the Blue Meanie. We'll cover wrestling, music, movies, sports, and lots of useless knowledge, all contained in the Mind of the Meanie. I'm Josh Shernoff, and he is the Blue Meanie. Meanie, what is up, man? Awesome.
I'm ready for a fucking laugh.
Here we go. Join us again next Monday for another
end credits.
Oh,
I'm doing pretty good, man. Little inside baseball. Normally we do this earlier in the day, but we had shit to do.
yeah.
So here we are, and it's a beautiful, overcast Saturday afternoon.
Yeah, how was it? You know what? Earlier this morning, I was out back, and it was kind of overcast, and then the sun came out, and it was really hot, and now it looks like it's going to rain.
Dude, it's almost November. It's still fucking 70 degrees out.
Yeah.
Holy shit. But I'm doing pretty good.
Good,
Pretty good. My schedule got thrown off because I stayed up late for the Eagles game the other night, but doing pretty good.
That was a game.
Yeah.
A literal game.
Yeah. Hey, it was a win.
Hey,
a win is a win.
It was a win.
Yeah. In honor of the Eagles win, I gotta give credit. Shout out to Marks and Reese. They played this the other day. It's a new version of the Eagles fight song I had never heard.
Let's hear it.
But it's right up my alley. So here we go. 3, 2, 1. In honor of the Eagles' victory over the New York Giants. Here we go. See if it comes.
So was that supposed to be them squeaking by, or was that them? Or was that them shitting the bed for most of the?
Yeah, that's been the pretty much the season for the Philadelphia Eagles.
And if you want to hear more about the Blue Meanie talking about the Philadelphia Eagles, Meanie, you were on an awesome show this week.
Absolutely.
You want to tell us a little bit about? You were actually there as the Green Meanie.
Yeah.
Tell us all about it.
Dude, there's a kid named Giovanni Hamilton. Awesome kid. Awesome kid. He's got a lot of health problems and stuff like that. And he's, needs a wheelchair and a walker to get around. And he's been having a lot of surgeries with his jaw and stuff like that. And has to get elbow surgery too. He's got can't think of the name of his condition, but he's going through some shit and he's only like 13. But the Giovanni just went viral maybe a year or two ago when he met Carson Wentz at training camp, and just his interaction with Carson, and he broke down into tears, and it's like a really touching moment between him and Carson. So I started following him, and he just became like this, he's like the Eagles super fan, and he's always positive, always cheerful, and he's like the bright spot. When you see sports talk on the internet and stuff like that, everybody's negative and stuff, but he's always got like a bright disposition considering all the shit that he's going through. And he's got a podcast now on the Eagles Brawl Network with Connor Miles. Shout out to Connor. And I was on Sports Talk with Giovanni on the Eagles Brawl Network. Shout out to them. And they had me come on, and he's only been doing a couple episodes, but he's had some heavy hitters on there. Mm-hmm. He's had some former Eagles on and stuff like that, and guys from Good Morning Football. And they asked me to come on. It was an honor. It was pretty cool. And the cool thing about Giovanni is he, he's got his hair dyed green, Eagles green. So in honor of going on there, I did my hair green. I was the green meanie for this episode. But you can find Football Talk with Giovanni on the Eagles Brawl Network. I listen to it on Spotify. So go give him some love.
He's
what's that, buddy?
Keep
what was
going.
that?
No, that's a solid 10 seconds of podcasting we just did right there. No, I interrupted you and then was telling you to continue.
Oh no. But Giovanni, he went viral for his interaction with Carson, and then recently when Dak Prescott broke his ankle, he dislocated. It was horrible.
That
horrible,
not look
disgusting.
Good. Yeah,
it's like right up there. Like if I know we got a lot of people who listen to other countries, but if I could compare it to anything, it's kind of like the Sid injury.
Mm-hmm.
When you see it, and you're like,
just
fucking
flopped over.
Yeah,
foot,
my asshole puckered and everything. I was like, Jesus Christ.
Man.
But whatchamacallit? Giovanni, an Eagles fan, went out on social media and wished Dak well.
Yeah.
And for a lot of people who aren't familiar with American sports, the Eagles and the Cowboys fucking hate each other. It's like the biggest rivalry.
Yeah.
Let's
just put it in perspective. Nova is a big Cowboys fan. So
yeah. And
I think that just put the
are
perspective
Eagles
for
fans.
Yeah.
It took every fiber of our being not to turn heel on Nova and his fucking Cowboys.
I did want to say Giovanni, the Philly sports podcaster, can be found on Twitter at real SJS Giovanni. It's GIOVANNI. Give him a follow. Join the over 9,000 people following this 13-year-old kid who, man, he did that. What you were talking about, as he called it, best day of his life. When the Eagles tweeted out that video of him that went viral. You look at it, it has 3.5 million views. That video,
yeah,
that is pinned to the top of his Twitter. Take a look at it. Follow him, support him. The thing that stood out to me the most when I was listening to you on there was 13 years old, how good he was as an interviewer.
He was great.
And so knowledgeable about the Eagles, football in general, but so knowledgeable about the Eagles that the two of you were sitting down having a conversation. If not for the fact that you didn't use any foul language, I would have just thought this was like you and a peer of yours sitting and talking about the game.
It took every fiber of my being not to drop like a fuck or a shit.
And it was a thanks to Mrs. Meanie who yelled in when you were plugging mine to the Meanie.
Yeah.
Not kid friendly.
Yeah. That was the best part.
Yes.
Yeah. Mrs. Meanie did a run on Giovanni's podcast too. Yeah, it's not kid friendly. I mean, it's kid friendly. Don't swear. So I was like, thank you, because I really had to watch my mouth.
No, you were plugging your show, and I said it's not family friendly.
Oh,
yes,
that counts.
That counts.
Mind of the Meanie, Mrs. Meanie round and Tracy Roots.
You don't have to come on. I just have to do music because that constitutes a run-in. Hold on. We went and I got lunch before. Hold on.
I'm eating.
Yeah, she's eating.
Okay.
We got some. Shout out to Nick's Charcoal Pit, by the way. My favorite places.
He was plugging your show,
Yes.
and I screamed, "It's not family friendly!"
Yes.
Yes.
In case, the child you were speaking to wants to go check it out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
But he's been to the Eagles game, so.
So what?
nothing he's never heard before. I consider
You're
us.
like a lunatic on this show, and you sound trashy. You like that?
Ladies and gentlemen, Mrs. Meanie.
I think we're family friendly, depending on what your family looks like.
Yeah, it depends on the family. Maybe the Manson family.
Yikes.
But,
So yeah, no, that was great.
No, he was
I
really
encourage
good,
everybody to go
man.
listen to that if you haven't yet.
and he the day right before the game, he put out his predictions, and 3 of his fucking predictions happened. He called the Jalen Mills interception. He called the Brandon Graham fumble a strip sack. He called one other thing. I was like, geez.
I'm going to predict for, not to show him up, but for the next few games in a row, I'm going to predict that we're going to do something terribly wrong. However, fate will work in our favor and we will be given a second chance and then blow that second chance. And I think that's going to happen at least twice in every game for the next, we'll say 3 games. How's that sound?
Yeah. Oh, his syndrome is called Schwartz-Jampel syndrome. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. It's like a form of dwarfism, they said. Because he's on the dude. He blew up so much with the Dak Prescott well-wish that ESPN did a story on him.
Oh wow!
So he's like, if you go on ESPN right now and look up Giovanni Hamilton, he's on there, and Dak Prescott reached out to him privately and thanked him for the well-wish. It was 2020's been such a shit year.
Yeah.
That it was actually cool to see something like that touching.
Yes.
Giovanni's been the bright spot of 2020. All the doom and gloom that's come out of this year, thankfully we have something to be cheerful for.
And every football team is garbage right now. Not just us, but he's like, come on, guys. He's the little rally cry.
Yeah.
He's so positive.
Yep.
Yeah.
Even when our team's a dumpster fire.
and
but they all are. So
and we are.
Yeah.
Look, I think maybe you guys were talking about it on that show, and that's where I heard you say this, but the idea of, you'd mentioned at some point the idea that what if maybe it was on our show, I don't know. What if we were able to make it
to
the Super Bowl?
Here's my thing. I was like, the Eagles are in first place by half a point or half a win because they tied with the garbage fucking Bengals, right? But everybody mocked the tie when it happened, but it's actually why we're in fucking first place.
Yeah.
I was like, it's double-edged sword because you don't want to be the best of the fucking worst.
Right.
Because they're in the NFC East, which everybody calls the NFC least. And everybody fucking sucks. So it's like, how great would it be just to piss off the football fucking purists? Go into the get a playoff berth with the worst record in football, and all you need is to get in the fucking playoffs, and then anything can fucking happen.
Just win every game after that. I don't mean that as a joke. Seriously, no. Yeah. But seriously, you somehow fall ass backwards into the playoffs, and then it's a brand new ball game.
You slip on a banana peel and fucking get a couple wins and fucking holy shit.
Every single game, it's just one game at a time. It's not unreasonable that could happen, and it would be hilarious.
I almost want to make a unruly sports declaration that if they win the Super Bowl with a losing record, I'll do this, but I don't want to do whatever I can, think off the top of my head. So my buddy Johnny Marks from WIP, Marks and Reese in the afternoon here in Philly. He's like, well, if the Eagles win the Super Bowl with Nick Foles, I'll get a tattoo of Nick Foles on my back.
Wow.
And he went and got the tattoo of Nick Foles on his back with holding the Super Bowl trophy. So I don't have to do anything I'm going to be held accountable for. But if the Eagles happen to slip and fall into the playoffs and make it through, I will be laughing harder than any Dallas Cowboys defeat I've ever laughed at in my life, and that's a pretty good laugh. The best part is that's what sucks about this apocalypse. Normally we go to McCusker's after it's an Eagles game, or I'll go there to watch the Eagles game, or I'll go there to watch a Cowboys game. I watch Cowboys games just to watch them lose.
Right.
And they're good for a good guffaw, blooper or botch, as they say in wrestling. And I laugh like Robert De Niro in Cape Fear. If you ever saw that movie, he's just like, he's laughing really loud in the movie theater and being disruptive, and people are like, shh, he's like, that's me. It's like I laugh so hard that I just get abs. It's amazing.
Oh,
but that's our sports
talk. That's the secret. What's that? That's what.
That's our sports talk for.
Yes.
All
right, moving on to wrestling, music, movies, sports. Okay, so all right, sports is done. Movies. Watch any good Hey, have you seen the Adam Sandler Hubby or Hoobie Halloween? No. I have not either, but like there's this part of me that wants to watch it because I want it to be what I would have perceived it to have been had it come out 20 years ago. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's like
I haven't seen an Adam Sandler movie in such a long time that I don't really know, except for Click, which was a good movie. But
Click got me, man. Like Click got me a little bit emotionally.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. But I really, it makes me think of you actually. That scene where David Hasselhoff, when he freezes him and he just, remember he gets up on the table. Adam Sandler gets on the table and just farts in his like in his mouth. Yeah. And then they come back. He unpauses him and he's just like. Like what is that? Yeah, does that taste?
But dude, I thought you were going to say because of our episode where we talked about time travel and be able to pause stuff and that's always been my fantasy.
But that's it's amazing. It's a really good movie if people haven't seen it.
Click is really good.
Well. I think it aged well.
Yeah.
But I haven't seen like Billy Madison or Happy Gilmore that I loved. I haven't seen those in such a long time that I don't know if they've aged the way I hope they would. And so that's like part of me like sees, Adam Sandler's got a new comedy thing and you've got Tim Meadows in it and you've got this one and that one. And I want it to be, I want it to be what those movies used to feel like. So maybe I'll give it a shot. I don't know.
Yeah. I see the reviews and it's like,
yeah.
So
you gotta check what are the reviews for his other films,
Yeah. Well, he's like strictly Netflix now. He doesn't even go to the box office.
No.
Like I forgot who said it, but like, Netflix was going by frequently searched whatever on their algorithm. And they're like, the most searched actor is Adam Sandler. Let's have him do exclusive movies. So that's kind of smart. Yeah. Smart on him. I'm not hating on Adam Sandler. I mean, the guy, he's made his own little empire and he's got his own little world where he hires his friends and stuff like that. I like Adam Sandler because every movie has like a Van Halen reference because he's a big Van Halen mark. So
there we go. We talked music as well.
Yeah.
So the only thing we didn't talk is wrestling.
Yeah. Well, dude, speaking of movies, me and Mrs. Meanie have been trying to watch like a Halloween-ish type movie a day.
Yeah? How's that going?
It's been going pretty good. Last night we watched the Batman, the first Michael Keaton Batman, and the second one. That was pretty good.
Okay, so
they're kind of Halloween-ish, in
their kind of that like spooky things. The what was like the blacklight people? Like fight in the thing like that kind of has a weird rave / Halloween feel to it.
But dude, last Saturday we watched one I had never seen. And it's like one of those. I want to say it's like a cheesy 80s movies. It's called Rockula. With a well, I might be showing my age here. Did you ever see the movie Summer School?
With who? Who is in that?
Mark Harmon and Kirstie Alley and Dean Cameron was one of the teenagers in that movie. He was called Chainsaw.
I don't think so. No.
Well, he's got this whole movie where he's a vampire and stuff like that. I won't get too far into it because I'm a shitty movie reviewer. Blue Meanie. We should do a segment. Blue Meanie, shitty movie reviews. I liked it. And here's Meanie with a shitty movie review. It was okay. And then they end credits.
We may start doing that.
But no, it's been pretty good.
Can that be a Patreon exclusive?
Yeah. Yeah.
We'll put that in it'll be a $25 tier.
Yeah. So there's this guy and he did this fucking thing and I don't know his fucking name, but that was the shits.
Yeah.
And dun.
I mean, I'm writing that down. Not that we're going to do it, but I'm definitely writing it down.
Yeah. Yeah. But we've been, it's been nice to get out of it because I'm mostly a documentary guy. I love documentaries. I can watch documentaries on anything. But to actually get back and watch some movies, it's been pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yes.
Let's crack this open. I'm thirsty.
Yeah, man.
So I've got citrus green tea.
Dude, I saw. Oh, okay. When you said aha, I thought you were just like, aha, this is the name of the. It's the actual name brand of
it's
your.
the name. The brand is. We're gonna turn. Aha.
Like the band, Take On Me.
Yeah. Take me on.
I have Wegmans orange pineapple.
Yeah.
When I seen you grab the can, I was like, please don't tell me we matched 2 weeks in a row.
There we go.
You know.
Go Birds.
Go. Oh.
Oh, I got this too. So this is sitting on my desk. I didn't actually drink from it.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, so this is basically me if I were Frankenstein. And
for the folks not who can't watch this at home, listening to our audio only.
Yes.
There's some Frankenstein's monster mug with some wickedly thick fucking eyebrows.
And thank you for clarifying Frankenstein's monster, because I just called him Frankenstein, but he's Frankenstein's monster.
I'm guilty of it too. I'm not being all high.
I think it's just at this point it's Frankenstein.
Well, actually, you know,
but
Frankenstein's
if you want to see what
monster.
this looks like, you can check out this week on the October episode of So Says Shernoffâ. That's why I have it here. It was a little prop on my desk. Or last October's episode was on my desk as well. But yeah, I've got all kinds. This was a fun episode that I recorded today. I had various costumes on at different parts of the show. So last year I bought all of these different costumes to do, just every scene I'd be dressed as a different wrestler. Right. And one of the costumes I bought was a Bret the Hitman Hart costume. And so I never ended up doing it because we realized the time to change and everything while filming in the studio was just, there's gonna be a lot of sitting around, a lot of, and we had, believe it or not, a live studio audience. So it was all, we didn't want everybody just sitting there while I'm going and getting changed. And because another one was Sting and I would have had to have done the whole makeup and all that.
Right.
So I've just had it sitting in a box. So I took it out and I wrap up the show dressed as Bret the Hitman Hart.
Right.
But I had just kind of sitting on display his pink sunglasses that I've had since I was a kid. I found them a couple of years ago and put them out on a shelf. When I found them in decent condition, they look good. So I put them on and then I start to do my thing. I realize I can't read the teleprompter with those sunglasses on. So then I lift them up. But when I went back and watched it, and you'll see on the show, there's a little like crap on my nose and on my forehead.
Is there foam?
The foam on the inside just dry rotted. And as soon as I put it on my face, it just powdered apart on me. So Bret Hart, if you're listening, and I know you are, can you send me a new pair of sunglasses? Hey, I actually paid. I'm all over the place today, but
that's fine.
But I actually have lost money to Bret the Hitman Hart, or not him personally or whatever, numerous times. So I put $100 down back in the day when I was, I guess when I first started out on the indies. Someone put out a thing that they were having Bret Hart come in for a seminar.
Okay.
And I mailed in $100. I mean, I was a kid, mailed in $100. Spoiler, there was absolutely no seminar. Bret had no idea. And I found out because it was kind of shut down by Bret's people on his website prior to, so I didn't have to show up randomly, but I didn't get that money back. And then I ordered, and this just occurred to me, I ordered a pair of Bret's sunglasses for him to sign, to autograph me, probably 10, even more than that, 15 years ago, maybe.
Right.
Never came. So.
Now with the seminar, was that a wrestling school just setting that up?
I don't remember. It was some. I was going to
say Outum.
I don't know who it was. Yeah, it was some. This was legitimately. This would have been 2004, 2003, 2004.
Right.
So a long time ago. I don't know. I think it was maybe some guy posting. I don't even know where I would have seen this. I didn't do chat rooms or anything. So maybe it was WrestleZone or something. We'll bury them. They're under new management. So they're the only news site that covers us. Why not bury them, right?
Yeah.
Shout out to WrestleZone. They're actually awesome. Dominic over there, always taking good care of us.
Dominic is a good dude, man. Dude, he was with us the last night we drank at McCusker's. It was
Really?
Like the night before the last MLW show, which was at the ECW Arena.
Yeah.
And he came out, and that was our last time at McCusker's. And then the next day was, we had the show, and that's when the world started shutting down. They had the signs backstage, no shaking hands, all that good stuff at MLW.
Calvin actually has pictures of those signs. Like he didn't
really.
I don't think I don't know if he may have posted them. Who knows? But sometimes he'll take pictures of things and he won't post them if he thinks that maybe like the company wouldn't want something out there. But spoiler: we have a lot of rare footage at AEW. That our hope is, like, Calvin's always thought of it this way. He took a bunch of videos of a bunch of random things from the very beginning of AEW through their first 6 months or so.
Right.
We were backstage at every single pay-per-view, the first Dynamite, a bunch of other Dynamites after that. And his thought was, this is either going to be for my personal collection,
right,
or one day, 10, 20 years from now, AEW wants to do some sort of, retrospective on the beginning of their company. We know no one else was filming these things. Calvin was the only one going around, and they knew Calvin was filming these things too. So it's not like it was like a total secret, because they actually asked him to film stuff for them. But
being a creep about it,
Yeah. But yeah, so I mean,
what's this fucking creep doing? No, I'm just kidding.
No, but they used to, yeah. And he had this really cool, little, he could hold it in his hand and it would do a time lapse. And AEW actually had him do a time lapse of the opening, with the pyro and everything, the doors opening and then the pyro. I don't know if they ever used it on anything, but there's also a shot of me that I'm going, I'm talking too much. We're going to send it over to you in a second.
That's fine. That's good.
But there's a shot of me when I was doing one of the FITE TV things, and the AEW cameras were definitely filming me as a behind the scenes thing. I think it was at the first Dynamite, and that never showed up anywhere. So I'm hoping one day they will. But
yeah.
Anyway, Meanie, what's up? I'm exhausted.
I am. Yeah, I've had a day so far. It's tired, but doing good, feeling good. I went and got myself one of these Fitbit type gimmicks.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Mrs. Meanie, Tracy, has a legit Fitbit, and I became very envious real quick because she's got a new gadget.
Because he's a toddler!
Because I'm a toddler. No, but it's pretty cool. She's got a Fitbit. I got a fake bit. No, I went to go get hers in. Well, it actually pays off better that I have this one because I can actually read the screen.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. Her screen is so tiny, and my eyes, I just probably wouldn't be able to read it. I just get tired and just put it down somewhere. So, but no, it's pretty cool, man.
What is it? So is your goal to monitor your steps, or is it picking up anything other than that?
Well, it does. It monitors the heart rate, monitors my steps, it monitors my sleep, which is pretty cool. I popped because there's it shows you light sleep, dark sleep, awake.
Yeah.
So light sleep is light blue, deep sleep is dark blue, and awake is white. So there's a couple moments in there it's white. It's oh, that's why I woke up to take a piss break. Yeah. No, stop it.
I had one. I had a Fitbit a few years ago. I went in a sauna, and that was the end of the Fitbit.
Yeah.
But that was a mistake. But yeah, they're really cool. I mean, I've gone back and forth about getting an Apple Watch.
Yeah, that's too advanced.
Significantly more expensive. But just because I like the idea of, I've always wanted to be able to kind of like Dick Tracy talk into my watch type thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, those are way too expensive. But the Fitbits, they're really good. I mean, it's been a few years since I had mine, so I'm imagining they're, the one Tracy, I can't speak to the fake bit, but the one Tracy has, I'd assume, is even better.
No, it's really cool. I'm not really on a health kick. I'm more on a health punt. But no, it's been pretty cool. My heart rate seems pretty good. I had my blood tested a couple weeks ago. My blood sugar's at like 97, which is perfect.
Nice.
Or so they say. No, so I'm, just you're getting older. I just want to pay attention to shit. I've been drinking a lot. Like I was telling you, I got like the gallon of water I've been trying to drink every day, stuff like that, just to feel better.
Yeah, I've been sitting a lot. No, you know what? I think it's awesome that you're doing that. I don't think, I feel like people sometimes get a little nervous about like saying like, hey, I'm trying to, get a little healthier to whatever, because it's kind of like then people are just staring at you, like waiting.
Right.
It's just like, does it look like he's lost half an ounce? Like, we want to know. But no, I think that's awesome, man. I think that's really good. I definitely need to get myself back in shape.
Yeah.
This
We've been pretty
quarantine
busy with the basement, right?
I have been, yeah. So I'm hoping the Says Shernoffâ I just filmed earlier today, right here in my office. I'm hoping that that's the last one I have to film up here, because I sent you a picture yesterday. And we've finished all the walls. I did some of that in between Says Shernoffâ and doing this. I was working in the basement too. Hung a little bit more drywall. So we drywalled the closet in my office, which is cool because I don't have a closet in this office. The floor around my desk has become a closet / minefield. So I'm really excited about having this new office / studio down there. And it's gonna be really cool. I've got this shelf that's gonna go behind me. I need to see exactly where's like the right height, because it's meant for like medals and stuff for people who like run and achieve. But I'm gonna hang my ties on it. Yeah. And so I need to make sure it's the right height, and also have my ties behind me. And so it'd be kind of neat. And I'll have my little DTOF display cases with all my random crap. But I'm excited about it. But yeah, we've been working in that basement. It's been a lot. It's been brutal. I thought I like tore my rotator cuff at one point carrying drywall into the basement. And then it turned out I'm just a little wuss, and it was just a little boo-boo. But no, man, I was just, it's been beating me up. And but yeah, hey, we'll once that's done, we're supposed to be getting our home gym, put together at some point, in the next, 2 or 5 years. So hopefully that'll happen. And once I do that, I've like told myself, once the home gym, like a dedicated gym area, and I know the home gym, I mean, it's going to be a room that has, weights and a cardio machine, but once I have a dedicated area,
A couple shake weights.
Yeah. Well, that's for more personal stuff, but
Right.
Get those forearms.
Those Popeye forearms.
Yeah. Anyway.
No, you sent me the photo. It looks pretty cool, man. Looks pretty cool. We're in the midst of trying to turn our back bedroom. Like I know I said this a couple of weeks ago. We were going to get a new bed. We got a new bed, and we were going to maybe switch bedrooms. Like our front bed, we were in the front bedroom. We maybe move to the back bedroom because our neighbors are like chatty Cathys and stuff like that. And, way too early in the morning. Mm-hmm. But the bed is like huge, so we're like, we'll just keep it in the front room. But now we're thinking about doing the back bedroom into like sort of like a studio and stuff where Mrs. Meanie can do her videos, and I could do this. Yeah. I could do the Mind of the Meanie stuff in the back bedroom. Mostly because a lot of times I'm doing this. I'm like right next to the front of my house, and there's been a couple times people drove by and just like honked their horns, or I was getting nervous coming to doing this episode because they're doing work next door. There was like as I was setting up, there was like hammering and sawing going on. I was like, oh man, I hope that doesn't bleed into the but they seem to have calmed down.
Yeah, I'm not hearing anything.
Yeah, but I would love to be able just to do a show like on a nice day and have a window open or something like that, because we were doing those shows in the middle of summer. And I sweat. I get sweaty just tying my shoes. I get blown up tying my shoes. So if I could just have an area where it's just quiet, and stuff like that.
Well, that was like, so we have a dehumidifier running in the basement. Mm-hmm. And once we put the walls up in my office, and I was able to walk in, that's still with the door. There's no door there yet. It's just drywall. the sound of the dehumidifier cut in half as soon as I just walked in there. And that's still, the ceiling's still open. Like I'm going to have a drop ceiling, which is pretty good for sound as well. But we had to beat a code, we had to put insulation around the exterior walls. But I also put insulation in all of my walls in my office because half of them are exterior, half of them are interior. So I put those to I'm just like, I want this to be like a soundproof barrier here, and I'm just excited about it. Also, like we talked about, the room I'm in now is like the hottest room in my house in the summer. And now I'm going to be in the basement, which is not going to retain any heat, so it might get a little cold in the winter. So we'll see if I, how much I'm freezing when we're doing this. But that's another thing. Like we've got stuff going on, alternative commentary coming up November 7th on FITE TV for AEW Full Gear. Meanie and I will be back live, alternative commentary on FITE TV. Do not miss that. But I will be down in the basement, whether that room is finished or not. And there's no way it's going to be like totally decorated.
No.
Maybe it'll be painted by then, but but I'm going to be back down there because I can't do certain things. I can't do that late at night up here,
right?
Where my son sleeps in here. And so, it's stuff like that. I think is also going to open up. I mean, I feel bad for our Patreon members who like to watch stuff live because me and are going to be like, we could just do like 1:30 a.m. Like, why don't we just do that? Meanie is like, I'm in this room upstairs, and I'm like, I'm in the basement. Let's just do it. But it's cool.
Let's jam.
It's nice to have I like having specific space for specific things.
Yeah. And
right now my office is like overrun with 100 different meanings for the space, So,
absolutely.
But that sounds really cool though. I think you should definitely do that. And,
well, the cool thing is like Mrs. Meanie, and it should be fairly easy because Mrs. Meanie made me this, podcasting cart. It's pretty much like it's kind of like an AV cart you would see in high school. So it's just, everything's just here. I just got to take it upstairs. Mm-hmm. So it's going to be a really cool setup.
Yeah.
And it'll be good. It'll be good for everything. A buddy of ours, Sebastian, he had a side business of photography and stuff like that, and he just gifted us, him and his wife just gifted us some professional lighting too. So, but Mrs. Meanie.
Mine! Not you!
You're definitely going to use it.
He gifted Mrs. Meanie some professional lights.
Me? What do you got, a mouse in your pocket?
Oh my God. Mrs. Meanie's getting hot over there.
Nah. Hey, if you're hot, say you're hot. Nah, she's a trip. I love her. But no, it'd be pretty cool. Like this. I have a ring light, and I thought that was good enough. The ring light he just gave us, or gave. I'm sorry, Mrs. Meanie. Before you see a fist fly into frame here, no, it's awesome. So we're gonna have like our own little studio, which would be nice.
Yeah, that sounds really cool. It's something I know I'm looking forward to, and I think the fun thing for our Patreon members over at patreon.com/mindofthemeanie, the fun thing for them is that they kind of get to watch our changes. Like we've definitely, since we started doing this on Patreon with the videos, we've kind of added you have the sign there. The only reason I don't have the Mind of the Meanie sign is because I'm waiting until I have my new setup, but it'll be cool. We'll have a nice, and then when we do Meanie Toons again, we'll have to get new backgrounds for that. We also have some cool mic flags coming, little mic cubes. I'm excited. About. Yeah.
Like Mrs. Meanie said, I was jealous of her Fitbit because I like gadgets and I'm a toddler. Mm-hmm. I'm excited for our new microphone cubes.
It's going to be really cool, and it's going to go along. We're going to hopefully be debuting those for alternative commentary. But yeah, I mean, I think it's going to be awesome because it's the kind that kind of goes around the like the podcast mic. So it'll just
like this gimmick right here,
right there, right? What you got? No, it goes around the wider part. I know mine's on a regular stand because my stuff's downstairs, but
yeah. I mean, you have the same arm I do, but you're just waiting to put it in.
Yeah, Well, my arm's actually still attached to the table. The table's sitting off to the side in the basement.
Oh, okay.
Yes, my arm. I already stuck my arm in all the way. Hey, I do want to say. So normally we don't jump over to we kind of touch base with our Patreon members later, but James Sorensen did write in. Hey Josh, I have thought about being you for Halloween. How does one pull that off? I do want to say that Anthony Camarada said, James, get a kick-ass tie and be awesome. That's how. So I want to say thank you, Anthony, to one of my favorite people. But also, James Sorensen, first of all, don't dangle the dream and take it away. You better dress as me for Halloween now.
Yeah.
That's amazing. No, I would say you have two options. You have the suit, which would be a custom tie, which my advice to you would be go to get a super cheap tie, the cheapest one you can find, and just put some paint on it or something, paint on a little S on the knot. Get a zip up tie so the knot's already there. You go to tieoutlet.com. That's where I get all of my ties. The base ties, not the obviously the airbrushed ones. That's different. But yeah, man, you can go do that. So just wear a suit and shirt and get the tie. As long as you have that big S on there, then you'll know that people will know what you. Well, but when I say people, no one will know who you are for Halloween. But we'll know. And then of course, I guess the beard. You got to put that little. I don't really have much of the chin strap going on. It's kind of more whatever. But yeah, you have a little bit of like a, beard in there, and then, just make your hair go up as high as you can. And, think Jimmy Neutron. And that's pretty much, it's a Matt Stryker once told me I reminded him of. So yeah, I think you could do that. And I would absolutely love to see that. Please tweet that to me if you choose to do that. We already know one of our Patreon members says they are going to a party dressed as the Blue Meanie.
Tremendous.
Tonight, I believe they said. So first of all, be safe at your party.
Yeah.
James doesn't have a suit jacket.
What's that?
Any jacket. Any jacket will do. It's just for the picture. Yeah. Any jacket will do. Also, I guess I should be saying don't do the tie, but go to prowrestlingtees.com/Says and get a shirt. But I think the tie is the way to go. We actually, I was really hoping, I think maybe by the holidays, we had some issues with the printing of it, but Pro Wrestling Tees was actually going to be doing So Says Shernoff ties.
That's amazing.
Which is awesome. And Ryan had sent the template and we had it, and then the printer got back and was like, this is going to be challenging to keep within the lines because it has to be on a white tie and there's all different things. So we're working on coming up with a different type of design on it. But unfortunately, that's not going to be ready for this year's Halloween. But yeah, man, you don't even need a suit jacket. Just wear the tie. It'll be awesome. Please dress as me for Halloween. That's the coolest thing I've ever heard.
Speaking of Halloween, which is, Halloween is Mrs. Meanie's Christmas. She has been doing, and awesomely so, doing a different makeup look a day for her social media. So if you go over
Instagram, my social media.
just Instagram, because I know you posted on Facebook and the Twitter. Here she comes.
We're going to get the lowdown.
Yes. She could do it better than me anyway.
Okay.
Here we go.
Listen, nobody's welcome on my Facebook. My Facebook is for my personal friends. Okay? You can follow me on Twitter. Sometimes I share my makeup looks on Twitter, but Instagram is where you're going to find every day of October has a new makeup or costume look. Vomitus.maximus on Instagram. You can, I'll probably put it on my Twitter so you can see the spelling, or just look up the Blue Meanie and then find it on there because he puts me over all the time. The Blue Meanie is obsessed with me.
Absolutely.
No, that's awesome. Yeah,
But if
definitely
you
check that
want
out.
them
It's funny.
all-
We're back.
If you want them all consecutively, all of them are on Instagram. I might share the best ones on Twitter, but it's an Instagram only thing.
Yeah, but it's really cool. Last night you did. I helped her photograph. She was.
I didn't.
Oh, I won't spoil it then.
No.
Okay, I won't spoil it.
No. That one's the only full costume I have left, and that one I'm saving for Halloween.
Oh,
Okay.
then we can't.
But
Yeah,
there's a really cool one coming.
nice.
There's a real fun one coming.
It was like 3D-ish. I was just. I'll say that much. I was like,
Yeah.
because she does like really
So
cool
Dudley
shit
Boys,
with makeup.
or what's the?
What's that, buddy?
Is she Devon to your Bubba Ray? Is that or not that 3D?
No, not that 3D.
Okay.
What? Yeah, I don't want to spoil it. I won't spoil it.
Yeah. Hey,
No
go.
hints, dude.
Everybody
Yeah,
should just go check it out on Instagram.
Kayfabe,
and-
brother. Go to Instagram.com/vomitus.maximus
So
for Mrs. Meanie.
it's interesting what Tracy was saying about her Facebook is like for her like personal, like, in real life friends. I've kind of had the same, like I hate calling it a fan page because, but it's a page. I have my page. And of course then there's the Mind of the Meanie page. And then we've got the Facebook, Patreon page. But I do have a personal Facebook page, and because it's my real name and, people will sometimes find me on there. So 2 things to people who find me on there. If we haven't met in person, doesn't matter how much I love you as a Pod Squad member, I had a hard and fast rule because not everybody that I've gotten to know, I haven't gotten to know everybody, right? Like Meanie, like you're the same way. Like, there's some people that we really enjoy who listen to our show that we've gotten to go back and forth and talk to. But we also have a lot of people who listen to our show that we've never tweeted with, never interacted with, never had a call with. So I kind of just have this hard and fast rule that if I don't know you personally, then like if your phone number is not in my phone, I don't, I just don't have you on my personal Facebook, which works out because I'm never on my personal Facebook. I am constantly on Twitter or on, never on Instagram, but Twitter or the Facebook page, for the show. I'm always on there interacting with people. So, my personal Facebook page is really so that I can like wish people a happy birthday and stuff like that.
And that's a place for me to go, hey, I'm over here now. I'm charging my phone.
Yeah, right.
So
yeah, all I'm ever on there is just to talk with Meanie.
Yeah, because sometimes like my phone battery will be down like 5%. It's like, ooh, I better charge this. But me and you'll be in the middle of a conversation. So I'll hop over to Facebook Messenger and I'll be like, let's talk over here for a little bit.
And it's good.
Like
the only thing is,
chicks.
then sometimes like I don't know what to do. Like if we talk for a little bit on Facebook Messenger, but then like an hour goes by and we haven't talked and I have something to say to you now. Well, now I don't know where you are. So then sometimes I'll message you on both just because I don't know where you are. So I'm like, and then I'm impatient. I'll message you on one and you don't get back to me within 5 seconds. So I'm like, well, guess the podcast is done.
The dream is over.
Yep.
It's a wrap.
So what else is good, man? What else is happening? It's been a crazy week. Crazy times in the world.
It's just weird. This is our first show in a couple weeks where we haven't had a special guest co-host.
Yeah, let's talk about that for a second. Last week, great response to having RJ City on.
RJ's the man.
Oh, that was so much fun to have him on that. It was just so much fun.
I almost felt guilty for keeping him on so long. But
I know. Well, I felt guilty when I kind of kicked him off at the end, but I did that for his own good because I'm like, all right, we're gonna go shill all of our merchandise. Like, I don't need to force you to stay on here for even longer,
Yeah, but he was a good sport about it, and he the next morning he put it over on RJ Makes Coffee in His Underwear on YouTube, and then again on his Wednesday night after dark show, which was always a good time. His streams are pretty cool because I'll be on there and sometimes David Arquette will pop in or a bunch of different people. Carrie Silken from Ring of Honor will pop in, and it just turns into this like it's like kind of like our podcast. Like he'll say something that reminds me of something, and I'll throw out something in the chat, and that becomes a conversation and stuff like that. So it was cool to actually go from doing that to having him on the show because and he even actually brought up a good point. He's like, what if I come on and just like all our good verbal all our good conversations like dried up. We're so used to talking, me typing and him reading, the chat.
But it's funny.
What if we have no on-screen chemistry?
No, it was great though, and it was a lot of fun to have him on. I had never met him or spoken to him prior to that, so I mean, we had tweeted a couple things back and forth once upon a time. So that was just so much fun because I'm a big fan of his. I do want to say that I got a notification on my phone that I get notifications when people buy merchandise from us.
Right.
And I got a notification that somebody bought a So Says Shernoff tie print T-shirt. And I checked, and then I see here, James Sorensen, you're the man. I guess that is the workaround. Wear the tie, the T-shirt with the tie on it. I am absolutely planning on a picture, and man, I hope you get this in time. So, yeah.
Dude, look, I appreciate everybody who listens to the show, but the Patreon folks have been really cool. We did a whole bunch of calls yesterday, and not yesterday,
last week.
But yes, I don't even know what that day is, but and that was fun. That was so cool, and we do these chats every week. So you just said something, and then he went and bought the shirt.
I know it's so cool. You guys are awesome, and the thing is, we've been really lucky. Maybe last week we talked a little bit about the changes that are coming to Patreon for our Patreon. And I don't know if maybe the fact that we said we're going to do the grandfathering in of people who are Patreon members prior to December 1st, those people are going to be grandfathered in to what they have. We saw a spike in people signing up for Patreon. So good. Do it. I mean, we're honestly, we're more comfortable having you sign up and get grandfathered in at $5 or $7 because then we don't feel like we're asking too much. So come on now, be a part of it. But it's really cool. And like Meanie said, we love the Patreon people. We love all of you. The only reason we can confirm that we love the Patreon people is because we get to interact with them all the time, and that's
as we record.
Yeah, and so we really want to be able to do that with more of you who listen to this show. We
it
are
really
have
is
some
like
more
a
tiers.
sense of community.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. We're going to have more tiers that Meanie and I have been working on. I'm just pulling hair out of my leg to get those tears to come. It's an old acting trick, or so people say. I don't think that it's true, but it's like the old acting trick of like, how do they make themselves cry? Oh, they pluck hairs out of their legs while they're doing a scene.
I just wake up.
Oh man.
And they just flow. Yeah, and then yeah. So yeah, that's what I do.
Yeah. But no, we've got some I'll tell you what. Why don't we, for fun here, I will read one thing that we're going to be offering. I'm not going to say what tier, I'm not going to say what it is, but one of the things we'll be offering in the new tier. How about that?
Sure. Little tier tease.
Yeah, little tier tease. Wish I had this loaded up before. Okay.
Because we're always on time.
You will be able to, for a certain price, after a 3-month commitment, Meanie and I will follow you on Twitter. And people are like, no, that's not it. Hey, one of the things, for certain tiers, you'll get a free shirt for joining that you can only get if you have that tier. So it's like a specific like Mind of the Meanie, and by the way, there's going to be some OG Pod Squad shirts available to only the OG members as well, the people who were in from before. So now we got some fun things. We got some really fun things planned. I'm looking at these and like none of them are things that I can really share. But and us following you on Twitter, I mean, that's real. We will follow you on Twitter if you sign up for the specific tier of Patreon. But that's not a reason to sign up. Don't. that's a cherry on top. Don't,
Like, really?
Yeah. Don't spend your money on that. What's
Stop
up, Meanie?
following me, sir. I don't even know.
Well, that's it for mine. I'm.
Yeah.
Oh man.
It is too late.
So we have, while we're talking about things that are coming soon. I mean, it's not even breathing heavy, but coming soon, we have an announcement next week. So if there's ever a reason, to join Patreon, the reason is for next week's announcement, because you will be able to get the announcement a day early, and we are going to plead with all Patreon members not to share the announcement, because obviously we'll be recording a day early. And that's another thing to note. We're going to be recording on Sunday next week, which is so... because obviously Halloween, it's kind of a holiday for us. But yeah, you're definitely going to want to tune in next Sunday, because everyone else will find out Monday, but you're going to want to know on Sunday. That's all I'm going to say. This is such an awesome announcement. I'm so excited for it.
I'm definitely excited. Again, I probably shouldn't even say anything because I don't want to spoil it, but it's show related, but bigger.
It's like stupit awesome. It is so like, why is this even happening type thing.
Yeah.
But so glad it is. Yeah. Anyway, I'm not even gonna say anything else. But But it's gonna be big. So we have a big announcement next week, that I'm really excited about, and Meanie is really excited about.
But back to special guest co-host. Shout out to Joey Campbell, who was on the week before RJ, and somebody, I think it was Jeffrey Mitchell, pitched the idea to do a BWO themed tutorial.
Yes,
and I talked to Joe, and he is looking into not only doing like a BWO song tutorial, but maybe having a full-blown Swamp Candles reunion thing, to where he'll get the members from that era of the Swamp Candles, which would be very cool. Like people he hasn't played with in a while, to get together and do a special performance for Mind of DeMeanie, and for our Mind of DeMeanie YouTube channel. So,
and I think that's something maybe we would try and figure out from a tutorial standpoint. Whatever we put up will go on Patreon as soon as it's done.
Of course.
And then we'll put it shortly after that onto our YouTube, so everybody can enjoy it. But that sounds, not only to do a tutorial, but then to get the band back together, to do that,
because there's been different versions of it. Obviously, they won't have to get the singer because it's an instrumental, but it'll be very cool to see like who he can get. Like that lineup was a really cool lineup. It was Joey on a guitar, of course, and shit, that was so long ago I can't remember. But no, seriously, it'll be very cool to see him get that version of the band back together and stuff like that. And then not only go over to the tutorial on how to play the song, but do a special instrumental version just for our Patreon. He did something really cool where they took a acoustic Izzy Stradlin did a cover of Stuck in the Middle with You, which everybody knows from the movie Reservoir Dogs and stuff like that. And they went and spliced themselves in with Izzy Stradlin, and they did they were like his backing band, unofficial backing band, unbeknownst to Izzy Stradlin from Guns N' Roses. The Swamp Candles redid the song with him, and that was pretty cool. So they're going to kind of do that in the same vein of like a Zoom call where everybody records their part and then splice it all together, and that'll be really fun.
I think that's so cool. I'm excited to see that. And and that's we're trying here to come up with more and more fun things, and it's awesome when our pod squad does it for us. It comes up with a good suggestion. We're like, well, that's a genius idea. But yeah, some really cool things. So any other fun ideas that you think, hey, that's something that Mind of the Meanie could do, let us know, because chances are the only reason we haven't done it is because we're not creative enough to think of it.
The Mind of the Meanie booking committee.
Yeah. Hey.
I'll be the Kevin Sullivan, brother.
Speaking of other people helping us out, do you want to go to an Ask Meanie Anything? We got a bunch of questions.
Hey, let's do it. Let's Ask Meanie Anything.
Just like that, it's done. All right.
Because we did some last week, but we don't want to.
Not too much, yeah.
We don't want to be rude to our guests.
So let's start with some older ones that we have back up. Anthony Camerata from our pod squad, our Patreon page, writes, what does Meanie think about the Rocky Horror Picture Show, and has he ever seen it performed with a shadow cast?
The Rocky, well, it's funny. I always you ask my opinion of the Rocky Horror Picture Show, because I always say ECW was kind of like the Rocky Horror Picture Show. Mm-hmm. In a way that, like, the crowd interaction, like, was like when people go to watch it at the movie theater, they know all the scenes of the movie, they know the chants, they know the songs, they know the dances and stuff like that. I'm trying, because there's actually a really cool there's a cool story with the actual movie. The first time I actually saw the movie Rocky Horror Picture Show, I'd seen bits and pieces, but back in like 95, I'd moved back to Atlantic City, and a dude that I trained with, Lethal Weapon Lance Gunn. His real name's Tim. He was running the show, and I drove back from Atlantic City to like right outside Dayton, Ohio, like backwoods, whatever. Did the show. On the way back home, I stayed at his house overnight. Was driving back to Atlantic City. I started having car issues, which is weird, in Columbus, Ohio, because when I first went to Al Snow's gym, the year before, my alternator died in Columbus, Ohio. So I'm driving home to Atlantic.
To get you.
It's the curse of Frankie Williams. Frankie Williams, Columbus, Ohio. I in that ring, I am afraid of nobody. Oh, you're afraid of nobody, sir. Frankie Williams from Piper's Pit. So yeah, I started having car issues in Columbus. Like, my car started overheating, so I pulled over, and I'm trying to figure out what's going on. There's like a random guy. I was like, hey man, I pulled over at like a Pep Boys, and then there's just like a dude. I was like, hey man, can you help me with this thing? And like this, I'm talking to this like random guy outside of Pep Boys, and he looks at my car and he's like, oh, it's just a hose thing. And by the time we figured out and got the thing fixed, it's way too late to like continue driving. Mm-hmm. So this random dude was like, hey, hold on, let's see.
Since it's Rocky Horror, was he a satanic mechanic?
Oh, hi-oh.
Wow. Very nice.
It was Riff Raff, everybody. And not the rapper.
Fucking, she threw me off there.
So the guy, did he invite you to stay with him?
I just stayed at his house. Like, this random dude fixed my car. Like, and I offered him to give him money to, like, because I guess he was a mechanic, for shoot. But like, he was working on his car, and I was like, hey man, can you fix my car? And like, I stayed at his place, but I slept on his couch, and we watched the Rocky Horror Picture Show. It was like,
wow, that is kids don't do that.
No, please don't just stay at random strangers' houses. But yeah, and then I drove home the next day, and
that is amazing.
My ass hurt really bad, but
oh no!
And I had no eyebrows.
Oh, eyebrows. That's another thing you might want to look into for the Halloween costume.
Go out and get like a Eugene Levy costume or
Yes.
something. Just,
Hey, have you seen Schitt's Creek?
love it.
Oh, I just finished it.
Dude, it's such a great show.
Amazing. Such an amazing show.
Well written, well acted.
Yep.
And like by the time an episode's done, you want to watch the next one immediately.
Yes.
Yeah.
So,
they won.
so
They totally swept it at the fucking Emmys.
Oh yeah.
Which it's amazing. But yeah, a tremendous show. Oh, but Rocky Horror.
Yeah.
What was the question? What did I think?
What do you think about it? And have
It's
you ever
a great
seen it
movie.
performed with the Shadowcast?
There's a convention that's like right outside of Philly, Monster Mania. They have it like twice, or they had it before the apocalypse twice a year in Cherry Hill, New Jersey. And the one time they had a reenactment, I went in there and I sat down and watched it, and they got a little bit too close. I was like, I gotta get the fuck out of here. Like the performers, yeah. I don't need Frankenfurter fucking putting his ball bag in my face. Just
Not in
I was
public.
like, I tipped the fuck out the back door.
Jeffrey Mitchell writes, if you
Hello.
could pick one Eddie Van Halen song to walk out to the ring to, what would it be, and where would the curtain point be?
That's a great question. I mean, like the go-to Van Halen song for as far as like ring music would probably be Unchained.
Nobody wants to put their ball bag in your face, Brian Heffron.
That's not true.
Oh,
Someone wants to.
I think you're thinking about that weird. Remember we did that really weird shit show in Orlando?
That's it.
It was that, because the people that do the Rocky Horror at Monster Mania don't put their ball bags in your face. They're very professional. They put it in your hand like a gentleman.
It's like a heart.
Do you remember that there was a weird shit show in Orlando?
We could do a whole episode about this one convention.
Well, we should have an entire shit show where we talk about like all the worst. I mean, you guys done it before, but like we've had some. Wrestling is like a bizarre planet, but then when you go and branch off into like, conventions, this one was like a pop culture kind of thing, so it was like a mix of weird people that weren't getting paid and angry. Like it was the little girl from The Crow. I mean, she's an adult woman. She was there. Yeah. It was there was
kind of a bitch. But
well, it was her first convention and it was a shit show. You'd be a bitch too. Yeah. You probably were a bitch. Who knows? Yeah, it was a weird thing.
It was it's supposed to be like this pop culture convention, and then like they didn't sell enough tickets, so they branched together with like an anime convention. And they had me go up on. It was like I don't want to even go. We could do a whole show on that, but I guess the good thing that came out of that, we made friends with Reverend Schnorr from what's that show? From Jerry Springer. Reverend Schnorr, the drunken reverend from there. He was really cool, and we're still friends to this day.
I actually came out to an Eddie Van Halen song one time as a rib on me in DCW, which was like OVW's second tier type thing before I started wrestling for OVW, but when I was down in Kentucky. And they just kept playing like every week I'd come out, and it was kind of like a rib that I was like kind of in on. Like I knew they were going to do it, but
yeah,
I guess I didn't really have any say if they were going to, but they weren't playing my music. And one time they had me come out to Dancing Queen, which was fine because it's a great song. And it pumped me up. But then they had me.
It's good heat music too.
Then they had me come out to Jump,
right?
And I didn't get the joke, like the rib.
Right.
Like that was like it was very weird. Like that music hit and I'm like, all right, let's do it. And it was like supposed to be a rib, but it definitely wasn't.
One time, me and Nova were wrestling out in Detroit for Malcolm. There's this legendary wrestler from Michigan, Malcolm Monroe Jr. Or Malcolm Monroe. His son was Malcolm Monroe obviously. But A.T. Huck, who was a referee for ECW, brought us out. And it was a really cool weekend. Me and Nova were on the show with Edge and Christian that weekend. And on the second show, we were hanging out. We got along with them great. So we went to the sound guy, and we just totally changed their ring music to Girls in Cars. And they didn't know. And like we're like, oh, guys, pay extra close attention to your ring music. They're like, oh, really? And they kicked in, and then they heard it, and they just went into full Rick Martel mode.
That's awesome.
They had been all the weekend. They had been doing this Rick Martel impersonation of like Rick Martel in the corner where he'd be jumping back and forth with his arms. I can't even do it justice. But they heard Girls in Cars, and they're like, and their faces lit up, and they went into full like Rick Martel mode. But back to the question of what Van Halen song I would come to the ring to, it would definitely have to be Unchained. And right as the drums kick in, because there's that opening. I'm not even going to try to impersonate it, but just like with the BWO song, there's the gong, you know. There's the part in Van Halen Unchained where it's like Alex kicks in with the that's the part where you come through the curtain. Nice. So yeah, and I think a lot of wrestlers used Unchained back in the day. Steve Austin said he used Unchained back in the day. That's just like the perfect ring music. They always play it like NFL games too and stuff like that to hype the crowds and stuff. So.
Let's see what we have here. We have some good questions. Here we go. This one comes from @Mac2Salad. Would you ever make a return appearance, even if it's a cameo, in the WWE?
Yes.
I second that for Meanie.
Yeah, of course.
Of course. Would you insist that your co-host Josh is allowed to come with you? Don't insist that. Take the booking. Don't.
Yeah, that would be my Van Halen bowl of M&Ms with the brown ones removed.
That's in your rider. Is that I get to wander around backstage, going up to Vince McMahon. You remember that time?
Yeah.
Okay.
Would I? Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah. Get on it, Meanie.
I like when people, why don't you just go back to WWE? It's just like, oh, it's that easy? Fuck.
Yeah, that's what I don't understand. I mean, you've just been sitting around here. Why, every year Royal Rumble comes. Why aren't you just putting yourself in there?
Well, that's the funny thing is, I have friends, who are wrestling fans, and they're I'm not being mean or anything, but they'll reach out and be like, hey, man, I got extra WWE tickets. You want to go? I was like, I can't sit in a crowd. And that's not me from just being like a diva kind of thing. But like if I go to a show, I'm sitting in a crowd, people are just going to expect me to do a run-in.
Yeah, you can't.
And if I don't do a run-in, I look like a pussy, just so it's like,
Well, and then they're looking at you and not the show.
Yeah. There's been instances where like we went to a NXT show in Florida. We were on vacation down there and went with Steve Cutler. I wanted to see Steve Cutler wrestle, and I didn't even make a big deal about it. I just went and sat in like the toppest parts of the bleachers where hopefully nobody saw me and people saw me. So I don't want to like a deal where like people were
Is that breaking news?
Yeah, I forgot the silence my phone.
Oh.
Yeah, breaking news. Yeah,
breaking news. Meanie doesn't silence his phone before. Show.
You just totally fucked me up too, because I was like, man, I just shut the sound off on my phone and then you hit the sounder again. I was like, I went and looked at my phone.
This is why they call us the most unprofessional professional podcast. And by they, I mean us. I think we're the only ones who ever said that. And by call us that, I mean we have a T-shirt coming out soon with that logo because Andy made one and we haven't had an opportunity to put it out yet. So there you go. Also, James Sorensen wants to know, on the Mind of the Meanie Patreon store, can we please get the tie design on a sweatshirt and jacket? I'm going to say yes to a sweatshirt, but I don't know how you could get it on a jacket because the tie is right down the middle, and I'm pretty sure you can only print on the sides of the jacket. So
yeah, that would be interesting to try to fit in.
Yeah. So what I recommend is you get a sweatshirt and then you cut it yourself down the middle, and then you glue on zippers. Anyway, how did James Sorensen asked, how did Meanie feel being on the same card as Rock Austin 1? WrestleMania 15, yeah.
Oh, it was amazing. Well, the cool thing is I got to be on a show with Rock and Austin every night.
Mm-hmm.
So talk about being blessed, you know. I hate to use that term, but like as far as being a wrestler, I kind of broke in right at the right time. I was in ECW during their hottest period. And then I got to be a part of WWE, part of their greatest period and stuff like that. As far as my character, I think my character was more suited for 80s WWE.
Yeah.
But still, I got to be a part of the show. And it was very cool. And I talked about this before, but like it was awesome to be on that card. But like, you know, we got our royalty checks and they're saying, oh, it's the highest grossing WrestleMania pay-per-view ever. And we get our checks and it's like a house show check. I'm like, and like a few people, you know, back in the day on when AOL Instant Messenger was a thing. Hey, did you get your check? Yes. Did you? Yes. And then it's just like, it totally wasn't what anybody was expecting. Because, you know, it was, you know, the highest grossing pay-per-view of all time. And then, you know, it's brought to you by Magic the Gathering and then whatever sponsors and stuff like that.
Mania is the one you're going to go buy. You're going to go buy a house outright with the check from. That's all the stories you always hear, you know?
Dude, I heard a story. I'm not even going to say the wrestler. A guy just appeared on a WWE pay-per-view. Me describing it would probably give him away. So, but like he was supposed to be in a match. He got jumped for the match. He didn't even wrestle in the match. And he got like a check. And it was like almost like a down payment on a house, kind of, you know, like 5 digits. And you're like, So you're like, oh, WrestleMania. I'm definitely gonna get like this life-changing check. Like, it's like a house show check. You know,
it's crazy.
You know, I was expecting like, you know, WrestleMania 2000 money. And I was like,
what was this comes from Jesus Maldonado what? I don't know. Let me try that.
Sounds like a new soda.
Let me try that again.
It's new Mountain Dew.
At Jesus Spin Time, we'll call him, because it's Jesus or Jesus. I don't know. It says the Jesus is his thing, so I'm gonna go with Jesus.
The Jesus is all right with me.
Maldonado is his last name. Maldonado.
Hold on, Maldonado.
Maldonado, is that what it is?
Yeah. Here's a name that might be a flashback to Philadelphia Indies. Do you remember Rapid Fire Maldonado?
No, actually, I don't.
Like mid to late 90s, early 2000s. I'm trying to think. There's a guy who when we were running 3PW, we used to rent this ring, and he's part of the crew that brought the ring. But like, he was a great worker. But his name is Rapid Fire Maldonado. So when you said that, I automatically recognized it. But like, he's not in the business anymore. But you know, good dude. It just brought back. You said that name, and it brought back, you know, it jarred a memory of a really cool dude that I used to work with back in the day.
Well, I'm glad that my outing myself as being able to read at a 3rd grade level was able to jar that memory for you.
Jesus Maldonado?
Sure.
Okay.
So Jesus Maldonado, or is it Jesus Maldonado?
Oh, Shernoff.
Oh, what was your worst match, or who was the worst wrestler you worked with?
Ugh.
Bury some people, Meanie. We need to get on Wrestling Inc.
Look, I've wrestled some bad. I've had some shitty matches, and a lot of names I didn't even bother remembering. Like, you do a show and you're like, oh, it's the promoter's nephew, and I've been wrestling for 12 years and it's been like one match a year, and you're like, oh, fuck. I'll say this, like, as far as people whose names I actually remember, I'm not going to shit on the guy because he was an okay guy. But this guy made it rounds for a little bit. The Dirt Bike Kid. See, I don't want to bury anybody, but like he just wasn't that good. And he was in this match was in ECW. I want to say it was me and Nova against him and Mikey Whipwreck, maybe. And we wound up putting him over too. He's like he was like he would book Sabu over in England, and he was friendly with Sabu, and he came over, and Sabu got him on some shows for ECW, and I think he worked he might have worked in an arena show, and then we did like a loop through Boston. It was the dog track where the mass transit incident happened. And me and Nova went to work him and Mikey. They're like, they're over, and Dirt Bike Kid's pinning you. I was like, I don't care about doing jobs, right? I don't give a shit. I'll put a fucking broomstick over. I don't give a fuck. It's about making moments, but it's like he wasn't there for anything. Like, and I mean, there for like we had a match planned in the back, and you're looking to feed for something, and he's still in the ring apron. I'm just like, it's like, what's that Sandler movie with the golfing movie where he's like, the ball's not going in the hole. You're like, go in the hole.
Yeah.
That's your,
it's like Happy Gilmore.
Yeah. I'm looking at him going, get in the ring. You're supposed to be feeding me. Get in the ring. Yeah. I literally had to go over, pull him over the top rope, and just like put myself in a maneuver, and just I was like, but I felt bad. That's the first time I actually like maybe stared down Paul in the fucking locker room. I sat there after the match, just sat there. He was at his table, jotting in his legal tablet. I'm just looking at him like. I always do that look with the disappointed face where I just make the scowl and shake my head like, which you can only see on Patreon right now. But you son of a bitch. But if you go on YouTube and look up, oh my God, Great Sasuke did a match with the Dirt Bike Kid, and there was this tournament where it's supposed to be all masked wrestlers. And Dirt Bike Kid isn't a masked wrestler. So I guess his way around it. This is in Japan for Michinoku Pro.
Okay.
It's a tournament of masked wrestlers. Dirt Bike Kid, not a masked wrestler. So he's wearing this face thing, kind of looks like Bane. Like a Bane thing over his face to get around the loophole of not having a fully fledged fucking mask. And like right as the match starts, he takes it off.
Oh man.
And the Great Sasuke proceeds to beat the ever-loving fucking shit out of him in the match. It wasn't even a match. He just shot on him. The Dirt Bike Kid, I think, went for something, and Sasuke said, "Not today, motherfucker," and just fucking proceeded to beat the fucking tar out of him. And look, I shouldn't be the guy talking about it, with the whole, oh, well, you got beat up by JBL, whatever. But this, mine wasn't warranted. Yeah, so that happened. It was like, holy shit. It's like right up there with it was right up there with Inoki beating the shit out of that Great Antonio guy. Did you ever see that?
No.
This guy go over to Japan, the Great Antonio. Big guy, looks like something right out of fucking Fraggle Rock. He's just this big guy, he's like, looks like Pavarotti with like this wild hair.
Wow.
And he's trying to do this comedian shit with fucking Inoki. And Inoki's hitting him with like moves, and he's going ho 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 ho, and like no selling Inoki, and Inoki said, "Not today, motherfucker," and just proceeds to fucking beat the shit out of him. And that clip's infamous enough that fucking comedian Bill Burr does like a voice, like talks about the match, and somebody overdubbed Bill Burr talking about this match with the footage of the match. It's on YouTube.
I'm gonna look that up.
Yeah, look up Antonio Inoki versus, I want to say it was the Great Antonio. Fuck, let me get my fucking phone.
I'll tell you what, while you do that, we're going to go to talk a little bit about homage.
Homage.
The best there is, the best there was, the best there ever will be. If you want in on the best wrestling tees in the business, Homage has you covered. All the styling, profiling, limousine riding looks from the rings of yesterday and today in super soft fabric and comfortable fits you can't get enough of.
Yeah, that's right, man. I've been a fan of Homage for years. I've been wearing their shirts for years, everything from pro wrestling to pop culture. And, dude, I get so many reactions out and about in the wild when I'm wearing my Dusty Rhodes shirt, or I'm wearing I'm a Funker shirt, or my old school ECW shirt. Homage makes shirts that are comfortable and stylish and definitely retro, which is the thing I've loved about them for years.
Mind of the Meanie listeners, you can use the coupon code MEANIE for 20% off your first purchase at homage.com. That's HOMAGE.com.
Ooh, the homage.com. Freak out! Freak out! Freak out!
All right. So,
yeah,
what do you got
it's
there?
Antonio Inoki versus the Great Antonio. And the funny thing is, I looked it up on YouTube, and there's this guy, it's called Aussie Man Reviews. It's this dude from Australia.
Yeah.
Who takes like viral videos and does his own like commentary over it, and it's like totally like, crikey, he's beating the shit. He does like, he's beating him like whatever, you know? So, yeah, and I was afraid I was confusing it because Antonio Inoki versus the Great Antonio.
Mm-hmm.
I thought I was confusing the names, but yeah, look that up. And then look up Dirt Bike Kid versus Great Sasuke. Oh,
James Sorensen had another question for me,
Sure.
actually. Josh, were you ever under a
forget it.
mask for... What was that?
You went, James Sorensen with another question. Oh, go ahead. You went, for me, I went, fuck it then.
Yeah.
Forget it.
Were you ever under a mask for a match? No, but I actually had 2 masks that I got in Mexico that matched, like perfectly matched my gear. And I just saw, they were just there, like at a shop when I was on vacation in Mexico. And I got them, and I kind of had this, like, I hadn't wrestled in probably 3 or 4 years at that point. And I had this like dream where I was like, okay, I'm going to get these masks. I'm going to come back. No one's going to know who I am. So I'll just kind of go and like work a couple of friends, like for fun, and do kind of like a, you know, like a comedic type thing, because my neck was beat up. I wasn't going to, you know, really wrestle anymore. And I thought, you know what, that could be kind of fun. I could do occasional, I was thinking a little like, almost like a Matt Classic type deal, you know, where he does the jumps off the first rope as his, you know, high risk maneuver and, you know, things like that. So but it never ended up happening. I don't even know where those masks are now. I never got rid of them, so I have them somewhere. But no, and they pretty much, I think they were like Sin Cara knockoffs probably. So like, you know, nowadays I couldn't even wear it anyway, but no, never worked under a mask. I'm a little claustrophobic as it is. So I mean, maybe now after 2020, I'm so used to doing everything with a mask, that wearing this that actually has holes for me to breathe through may have been easier. But he also asked, can I give the costume a championship title adage? I don't know what that means. But you can definitely put a winged eagle, kind of looks like my old TWF one. You can carry that around on a shelf behind you.
I've always heard, you know, people like who wrestle a mask, they say it throws off your depth perception and your peripherals.
Yeah, well, I mean, you have no. Oh, pardon me, that was my phone dropping. Hey, you know what? I'll accept that because that was a Patreon member bumping up their tier from 5 to 7.
Thank you.
Yeah, the notification knocked my phone down. Thank you so much.
As in what?
Yeah, I really appreciate that. So James also said, can we hear the Meanie and Bill Apter ice cream story? So you've told that on the podcast before.
Yeah.
So that's available in the archives at mindofthemeanie.com. No, you can go back. If you look at each episode, I don't remember which one it was, but it was definitely in like the review of the episode, you know? So you can go find that. We've given Bill Apter too much airtime. Love Bill.
Definitely not hair time.
Oh man.
Hi-oh.
James is now asking, he's trying to backpedal, so he's trying to ask you the same question.
No, I never wrestled in a mask, but one time I did the show for Bobby Blaze in the fucking hills of Kentucky somewhere. And I think I've talked about the show before, but I was Brian Rollins, whatever, and you try to do goofy shit, you know, or not goofy shit. You try to do something different. You try something different. And it was on a show. I was like, fuck it. I'm never going to be back here again. So I walked to the ring, and it was like as a fan, I was a big fan of the tag team called the Blackhearts. And they had these unique masks where the whole face was this black sheet. There was like no eye holes, no holes, no mouth. You couldn't even see their faces. It was just a mask. And they had the coolest uniforms. And I mean, yeah, tights, gear, coolest looking gear. And their mask, you couldn't even see their face. So it was like mysterious kind of thing. I found a mask similar to that in a Halloween shop or something like that. I was like, this will be cool to watch. I wore it to the ring, and I did like a big reveal. I took the mask off. I went, rah! And everybody went, so that's as close to wearing a mask in the ring I've ever done.
Anthony Camarada says, this one is for both of you.
Ooh.
What is the worst bump you have ever taken that made you think twice about wrestling?
You want to go first? Or?
Yeah, I'll go first. Maybe I'm forgetting one and it'll come to me, but I would say
I have two, but go ahead.
I would say, once I took a power bomb and definitely got a concussion. No, I mean, I didn't have a doctor tell me that it was a concussion, but when you hit the back of your head and the front of your head hurts really bad, you're pretty sure. Also, when you don't remember all the stuff that you did after that match and you remember being back in the locker room. Yeah. But that didn't have the same effect. I would say the worst. So it's weird. The worst bump I ever took was the one in OVW when I separated my shoulder and it knocked the wind out of me at the same time. So I landed, separated my shoulder, and had the wind knocked out of me. I had never had the wind knocked out of me before. So
it's a scary feeling.
It's a scary feeling because you literally can't breathe. You're trying to breathe in and out, and it's just not for a certain amount of time. It's not happening. I remember just like pulling myself up on the ropes and holding onto the ropes because I'm like, well, if he can't do anything, the ref's got to get in the way if I'm holding onto the ropes. So I actually asked Al Snow about that match a couple weeks ago. I sent him a text and he said that he was pretty sure they got rid of all of like the house show tapes from that time period. Yeah. He said he would check, but I never heard back from him, so I don't think they have them, which I told him, I said, that's great because now I can start, if you don't have any tapes of these house show matches, I can start talking about what an incredible athlete I was and the death-defying things I did at these OVW house shows. But I never saw that, and the reason I really wanted it was at the end of that match, I got beat up by guy Andrew Vane and his partner Anthony Bravado, and they were beating the crap out of me. And that was when Al had to go back in the locker room to Drew McIntyre and was just like, are you waiting for them to kill him? Or because Drew was supposed to run out and make the save. And say, fine, I'm just getting my ass kicked. Meanwhile, I have a separated shoulder. And that was one of the worst bumps I was taking was they were Andrew Vane had this move called Curls for Girls, where basically it was a slam. Like think the world's strongest slam.
Right.
But he didn't land with it. He would just curl me up and then drop me. And I would just land however I was going to land. Like he would just throw me down and those were stiff. That hurt like a
Terry Taylor calls that the sack of shit slam.
Yeah. I mean, pretty much it just sucked. But no, I would say the worst one that made me think that made me think twice about wrestling would be that literally did make me think twice about it, because I'll never forget going into the bathroom afterwards and looking at my shoulder, which was kind of all, and I remember, and I won that match and it was great and it was wonderful. And I remember I'm now back. I go right over, I'm looking in the mirror and I hear the next person's music hit and the crowd goes nuts. And I'm thinking to myself, like, I'm like, this is going to hurt for a long time now. And everybody just moved on, everyone moved on. And if I get seriously hurt doing this, people might be like, oh, that's a shame. And then they're going to move on with their lives. And so it made me start kind of having a thought. And I still wrestled for another year after that, but it made me start thinking, even though I had hurt my shoulder, it made me think more about my neck, because my neck had consistently been an issue for me while I was wrestling. And that's when I started going like, okay, yeah, you landed funny on your shoulder. That easily could have been landing, because I had flipped. So I easily could have been landing on my head. And so, yeah, that would be it. What about you?
That slam is how I used to set up the meanie salt for a little while. Like if somebody was coming off the top rope, I would catch him and just do that slam. That way I would have him in perfect proximity of where I thought I could hit the meanie salt. But as far as taking a bump, I was going to say like the first bump I ever took in wrestling school, just like, oh, I'm going back to Jersey. That hurts. That hurts a lot. There's like 2 slams where I've taken to where it's like, well, one was a bump and one was like a self-inflicted bump. One was the Brian Rollins. It was me and this guy Rick Matrix against Crippler Ray Roberts and Cactus Jack. And this was Cactus Jack's first match after the death match tournament. Like where him and Terry Funk,
So he was all burnt.
Like his whole, like there's photos of his arm, like he burned his arm and stuff. So his arm was like still wrapped and stuff like that. But I did a thing where we were having like it was in Newcastle, Pennsylvania. It was called the Newcastle Street Fight. Just a hardcore match. I got knocked silly, and Mick hit me in the head with a portable, like a toy pool table.
Jesus.
And I just remember being like, what the hell? But I was setting up Crippler Ray Roberts on the outside, put him on the table. I was going to do a leg drop off the ring apron through the table and just have a miss. But I went to do it, and it was the table. It wasn't one of those typical tables that, you break down right in the middle. It's like one of those Botchamania tables that, refuses to put you over. So I go to do the leg drop off the ring apron. I hit the table, and I slide off, and I go tailbone first onto the basketball floor. And my tailbone hurt for like a year after that. And I was just like, oh, man. Am I cut out for this business? Like, it hurt a lot. It's like, but eventually I started thinking, man, that probably would have hurt anybody. As far as like a bump I took that made me like, oh man, I took the super bomb from the Pit Bulls. It was,
man.
I forgot what the match was, but Sandman and Gary Pitbull picked me up like for like a atomic drop and fed me into Anthony, who's going to pick me up and super bomb me off the top rope. And they get me up. I clutch around Anthony's neck. He picks me. He stands up, does the super bomb. And the bump had more to do with the ring than the actual people who were giving me it, because it was like the ring was like, this is before we got our professional ECW rings, and we were renting them from, I want to say from Ted Petty, Rocco Rock. And there was like a beam that was out of spot, and when they super bombed me, I landed right on this beam in the ring, and my back was like this tore up. And I think my head pretty much dribbled off the mat too. So I guess the one cool thing that came out of it, like I took the super bomb, and it's like so unnerving which is weird because I'm used to climbing up the top rope, looking out and doing the backflip, but to take that bump where you're just looking and
you had no control. That's the difference.
No control. Well, the cool thing is like I watched it back on TV, and as I hit, boom, and my head kind of dribbles off the mat. I clutched the back of my head, and I turned around. Somebody in the crowd hit an air horn right at that moment. It looked like my cell went in tune with the air horn kind of thing. So I was like, well, that kind of sucked, but it looked good on TV, so I'm not as mad.
Yeah.
But that whole night we went to the Cylinder of Sin to do promos, and I couldn't even, like, bend over to, like, you know, tie my shoe. Like, if my shoe was untied, I was like, hey, I would have to ask somebody.
So let me ask you, you know, obviously I had done the OVW TV stuff, but that's not, I mean, and what they're doing now is amazing, but it's not the same as what you were doing on TV. And you talk about, you know, at least it looked good on TV. Was there a mindset for you of like, okay, this is a house show and this is a TV taping and this is a pay-per-view. And is it like, I don't mind if I get messed up on a TV taping or a pay-per-view, but dude, on a house show, I do not feel like getting beat up the same way. Was there kind of like
ECW? We pretty much did shit we do on TV, probably to our detriment. You know, we probably should get a little bit of, you know, you see videos of Cronus on a house show and he's got like a crimson mask and stuff. It's like, oh man, save that for TV, buddy. But nah, we kind of went we were same speed every night. You know, Tracy Smothers used to make a joke. He's like, man, if we ran seven shows a week, he'd have 20 funerals, you know?
Yeah. But seriously though, I mean, that's kind of, you know, you look at it and you something like that Powerbomb, had that happen at just a house show, wasn't for TV. That's why I was like wondering, would you have looked at that and just been like, all right, well, that wasn't, I'm glad the crowd liked that for a second, but that really wasn't worth it. But at least TV, you know, that's something that lives on forever. That's something that can draw people back inside. It was just
there's an adage Al Snow, taught me. Is like, I don't care if it hurts like hell, as long as if it hurts like hell and looks good, we're fine. If it hurts like hell and looks like shit, then we got a problem. You know, if you're clubbing me, but the punches look like the whole thing looks like shit. Yeah. It's like, ugh. But if you hit me with a good solid right and it connects, but it looked awesome. Okay. No, as long as it looks good, you know. But as long as it looked good, man, I didn't care. But if it hurt like hell and looked like shit, then there's a fucking problem, you know.
Let's go to a quick ad here, and then when we come back, we'll do a few more questions. How's that sound?
Sounds great.
All right.
Blue World Order.
Like what you hear on Mind of the Meanie? Then come join us over at patreon.com/Mind of the Meanie and become an official member of the Pod Squad. We have exclusive merch, monthly watch-alongs voted by you, plus you get to watch every episode of Mind of the Meanie live.
It's like Fight Club, except we talk about it. And if you want to be a super secret Pod Squad member, come join us on Patreon.
And aside from everything I mentioned before, you also get 20% off all of your merchandise over at ProWrestlingTees.com/Mind of the Meanie. And there's just so much more. So head on over to patreon.com/Mind of the Meanie, check out everything we have to offer, and become an official Pod Squad member today.
Say hello to the Pod Squad, man.
All right. Jesse Cage, friend of the show.
Nice.
Writes, fastest land mammal.
I got no answer for that. But shout out to Jesse Cage. He's the man. He has a really good podcast called First Match, where he gets a bunch of the guys on to talk about their first match and stuff like that. So definitely check him out wherever podcasts.
You've been a guest on there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. Fastest land mammal. I don't know.
The Dingbat returns. Right.
Hey, I'm standing right here, buddy. Don't call me names.
What was your worst? No, I'm sorry. That's the wrong person. Okay. What was the funniest thing you saw during your time as a promoter?
As a promoter? Oof. I could tell you one. Not that I saw, but I realized I did as a promoter.
Yeah.
We were running shows for 3PW, and we Todd Gordon booked a body bag match where you had to stuff your opponents in a body bag. It was New Jack, Sabu, and Sandman. And I have a friend on the LAPD who got me legit LAPD body bags.
Wow.
So we had the match, and at the end of the show, you're just fucking loading up and getting shit out of the building. I drove around for a good 6 months to a year with these bloody body bags in the back trunk of my car. And it wasn't until I was cleaning my car out one day I went, it's a good thing I didn't get fucking pulled over.
Yeah.
And they go, sir, can we look in your trunk? And I go, you don't really want to look in it. And then it becomes this whole thing. And, and so as a promoter, yeah. From a promoter, I told the story about the guy I was working for. He's like, I'm trying this new advertising technique where I advertise the show sold out.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, that's great.
Can I get my money now?
Yeah. I've seen a lot of promoters do weird things and fake a lot of heart attacks and stuff like that just to get out of. If you're a young aspiring wrestler and they put in a battle royal last, make sure somebody stays in the locker room. Make sure the promoter doesn't run out the back door with the money. Yeah. And they like to fake heart attacks.
Joey Carr, Patreon member, writes, Raven is well documented as being a prick back in the day, but he saw me in a wheelchair with my service dog at WrestleCon 2017 and proceeded to sign 3 extra autographs and get Deborah to take a picture with me and Stevie Ray to sign a free autograph. Do you have any similar stories of Raven showing a soft side of any kind?
Raven's mellowed out, since back in the day. There's definitely times where, me and him hit it off right off the bat, but then I saw him and Stevie, a couple of interactions between him and Stevie, and I was like, ooh, I'll just be over here. I'll let you guys work that out. I'll be over here. As far as a soft spot, after the whole JBL thing, he reached out to me and saw how I was and stuff like that, and he's a really good dude. He is. He's a smart dude, good dude. Sometimes he was his own worst enemy. I think he would admit that, sometimes. And some people thought he was a prick, but hey, there's things you do in the business where, if you see somebody not doing the right thing, you kind of have to there's times where he was tough on me and Stevie, but he was tough on us because we did the wrong thing. Mm-hmm. You don't realize that till much later, and then you become a trainer and you realize, man, I understand what Raven was going through when you're trying to coach somebody something and they're just not getting it. So I wouldn't say he was a total prick, but he was a perfectionist, and I learned a lot from him. And thankfully he was that way because I learned so much from just listen to Raven put a match together. I learned so much, and then to actually carry it out in the ring and watch it unfold and watch the crowd reaction to the things we had talked about in the back.
Any idea how he's doing these days? Last I had heard, he was going to DDP to work.
I hope so.
Get himself in shape and get and fix up some issues that he has, because apparently his back is just garbage at this point. And
he was having shoulder issues too, and hopefully it works out. He lives right down there in Atlanta, so why not? But hopefully he does. I haven't talked. You know what? I texted him a couple weeks ago. I found an old photo that I thought he might like. I was like, hey man, I just scanned this. You want me to email it to you? He's like, no, I got it. And it was just a random ECW. Yeah. There was a moment I was going through my closet and going through some old photos and taking photos, for future Throwback Thursdays and Flashback Fridays, whatever. Mm-hmm. And I found this photo of me, him, and Stevie. I was like, oh, would you like this? He's like, no, I got it. And that's about it. That was the most of our conversations. But he's in a good place, and I'm happy for him. There's There's a period of time where he was in a lot of people's death pool and stuff like that, but I'm glad he got his shit together and he's doing good.
James Sorensen writes, cake or pie?
Oh my God. Depends.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
true.
I mean, technically cheesecake is cake, right?
I mean, it's cheesecake. They're not calling it cheese pie.
And that's my fucking kryptonite, you know? I told you the story. We went to Raw and we went to catering and Tommy Dreamer comes up to me and goes, Meanie, I can't keep my game face on. I'm like, why, Tommy? He's like, they got cheesecake.
Oh,
and he's like, he's not even laughing. He's just like, matter of factly, they got cheesecake. So, yeah, I would have to say cheesecake.
I have a friend who loved cheesecake, and he asked a question at the Cheesecake Factory once to us at the table. Is it normal to get aroused by cheesecake? I don't have clarification that he got aroused, but it seemed like everything was pointed in that direction. I mean, there's good cheesecake, and then there's that's like a fetish. Yeah, that's a different story.
Like, did he ask the server?
No, he just asked me and some friends. Yeah.
Oh.
I mean, in fairness, I wish he hadn't.
That's the sequel to American Pie. You know?
Yeah. Speaking of pie, though, a good, like for me, like a good cherry pie or blueberry pie. There's a pie at Red Lion Diner. Back in the day, I haven't, had it in a long time, but it was my favorite thing. It was so good.
I'm still laughing at RJ City sending Bubba Ray Dudley a pie at the Oregon Diner.
2 pies.
2 pies.
Yeah.
Tell him to choose between them. Yeah. Send him a good pie. But no, as far as pie, apple pie, heated up with ice cream. Yeah.
Yeah. We can do like a whole,
shit right there.
like from Forrest Gump. Do
What?
like we got apple pie, there's cherry pie, you got the blueberry pie.
Yeah. Yes, dear.
Favorite pizza? James Sorensen followed up.
Oh.
So I'm going to ask you a question about pizza.
Yeah.
Do you like pineapple on pizza?
I'm not objective to it.
I'm about to, I'm sure, get some hate. I love it.
Yeah.
I absolutely love it. People are like, it's disgusting. You could just go and put pineapple on pizza. Why not?
Yeah.
Why not? Pineapple good, pizza good. Put them together, delicious. I don't understand.
There's nothing
What's
more
the heat?
that I hate than a fucking pizza snob. Yeah, fuck it. Yeah, put some fucking pineapple in there. I don't give a shit.
I was in Israel once.
What?
And I was in Israel.
Okay.
And we got pizza.
That's just so random. I was just
Well,
like,
no. It's just, yeah, it has nothing to do with pizza. I just wanted you to know. I want you to learn a little bit about me every week. No, I was in Israel once, and we got like a bunch of pizzas ordered, and one of them they ordered, it was a corn pizza. It was cheese pizza, absolutely covered. There was not a bit of uncovered cheese there, covered in corn. And I was like, okay, I don't know how I feel about this. It was amazing.
Really?
It was amazing. Yeah. So,
well, as far as my favorite topping goes, I get a pizza. It's I'll get a regular pizza with bacon and tomato.
Oh.
Bacon and tomato, or you get a white pie with bacon and tomato, which is really good too.
So you'd have like sliced or diced tomato?
Just whole round tomatoes.
Like, so sliced.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Or you just have a giant fucking tomato that they just sit on top of your pizza. It just explodes as you bite into it.
Yeah. Oh. Did you ever fucking bite into a microwave tomato? Oh my God. It's like
No.
lava.
I never have. That sounds
No.
terrible, actually.
Yeah.
But we grew a bunch of tomatoes in the garden this year.
Good for
A
you.
lot of them. Thank
I'm
you.
just kidding.
Uh,
I don't know why I was being a dick about it. We're growing some tomatoes. Oh, good for you. Good, for,
yeah,
good the
good. I
fuck
hope
for
you
you.
fucking
pal.
ate them. Good for you.
Yeah, you and your fucking tomatoes over there.
Tomatoes always makes me think
Fuck
of Taz
you
on commentary.
and your tomatoes. No, I'm just kidding.
Taz on commentary
Maybe.
back in the day. I remember like they had like a food fight, and he's just oh, tomatoes. And I was like, and I'm just thinking to myself, and I love Taz and his commentary. His commentating is amazing, but I just remember at that moment going like, I remember when Taz was in ECW. And I'm like, you never could have pictured that guy going, huh, tomatoes, Cole. You know, like it was like it just a, you know, but
I was fortunate enough in ECW to see like the humorous Taz kind of like I've told the story before, you know, for whatever reason, like people walked on eggshells around Taz and they're afraid of Taz, and rightfully so, because he was a legit badass. But like one time I'm walking into the ECW arena, I have on a shirt I call my Bert and Ernie shirt because it's like looked like a Ernie shirt. He looks at me and goes, Meanie, horizontal stripes. Mm-mm.
Yeah.
It just shook his head like, nope. And I was like, I popped. I was like, man, anybody see Taz? You know, everybody else was like on the eggshells, like scared. But like he was always nice to me. He's always cool, you know.
The last question we're gonna do. Oh no, what do you have to say?
Everyone, I want to put over Taz too because I love Taz. But like the
Taz
first
is
time
amazing.
I'm sorry.
Taz is amazing. I love Taz. He's awesome. Even though I wished him a happy birthday, included nice pictures of me and him, and even told him I'm putting myself over at the expense of your birthday, and everybody liked it and retweeted it except for Taz.
Yeah. Oh, who are you, brother?
No, hey, Taz and I are tight.
I'll fucking choke you out.
No, he's awesome, and he was one of those first people that like, it was him and Tony Schiavone. I remember at AEW like calling to me by name, like getting my attention, and my going, oh my god, they know my name. Like that was the first, you know, it was like the first time I was like, because you know, you when you say like, hey, good to see you again, they go, oh, good to see you again. That doesn't mean they know who the hell you are. Yeah. But like, you know, hearing that, I was just like, oh, that's so cool. But
that's all. That's a good piece
then he
of.
faked my.
That's always a good piece of professional advice I give to aspiring young wrestlers. When you meet somebody, go, good to see you. Never say nice to meet you. Always say good to see you, because if you've met the person before, you go, oh, nice to meet you. And like say it's somebody important. You're like, we met before, and that's like the worst feeling in the world.
That is literally how my marriage began. So I'm not kidding. I've told that story before. When I met my wife, and we just passed the anniversary when I met her a couple of days ago, October 20th, when I met her. And
did you celebrate it, or did you forget that anniversary too?
Totally forgot it. But we're bringing. I'll bring it up to her in a few weeks, just like mine and the Meanie. But a month later, though, was when like I met her after the show, and it was all nice and everything for like a second. A month later, I saw her at a mutual friend's birthday party, and I went up to her at the bar, and I introduced myself. I'm like, "Hi, I'm Josh," and she's like, "We've met," and that was. And then she wouldn't let me buy her a drink, and it was like really. I had to work to get this.
Yeah. But back to Taz.
Yeah.
The first time I felt like I was part of ECW was Taz came up to me and asked me if I wanted to get an ECW jacket. Like we always got those team jackets. And it was like the first kind of like ECW team jacket. Mm-hmm. It was the red jacket, black sleeves, the ECW embroidered on the sleeve, and your name on the front with the circle logo on the back, which I still have upstairs. And he pulled me aside. I was like, "Hey, brother, come here." I was like, "Oh shit, what'd I do?" Here's the funny thing: it's like, "Oh, we're getting these jackets, and I wanted to see if you get one. I'm waiting for somebody else to, get back to me on that jacket, but he hasn't gotten back to me yet." And then Sammy walks by and goes, "Yo, Taz, I'll get back to you on that jacket." He's like, "Oh, that was the guy." And but like that whole time, I'm going, "Oh, I'm getting a jacket," and like I was like, "Oh, I guess they're keeping me around."
Yeah, right. Well, I mean, that's amazing, though. That had to be an incredible feeling.
That's why I was like, "Oh, I guess I'm part of the crew. I'm part of the plan. That and when they first put me in the opening montage, you know, holy shit,
that's awesome, man.
It's pretty permanent, you know.
Joey Carr asks, any good Paul Heyman food / lunch / dinner stories? I guess he's not interested in breakfast, but he wants.
Yeah, fuck breakfast.
Yeah. Any Paul Heyman food stories? And another question been asked earlier. By James Sorensen, best Paul Heyman story you have, whether it be backstage or a road story, whatever it was. So it kind of, if you have one related to food, share it. But otherwise, let's just see if we got a good Paul Heyman story.
I don't really have a good Paul Heyman food story other than we did the BWO Times Square Christmas video and we went out for pizza afterwards. That's about it. It's the only time I really had a meal with Paul.
He seems like someone who would be really specific about his pizza.
Yeah. No, we went to this place and I wish I remembered the name of it. It was a really good pizza joint. Us and the film crew and all went out to eat pizza afterwards, and he picked up the tab and stuff like that. No real good Paul Heyman food stories. What was the other one? What was the other question?
Just any good Paul Heyman stories.
Good Paul Heyman stories. Just him. I always liked watching him go over a match with people. And as he's going over the match with people, he became the characters he was talking about. You know, like if he's working on a promo, he would do the promo to you as you know, and he could lay out a match in the back, telling you the match. And as the match is going on and you're hearing him talk about the match, you're kind of getting into the vibe of the match. And when he does and then the match ends, 1, 2, 3. You're almost like popping like a mark in the locker room and stuff like that. But
he's an amazing storyteller.
Yeah.
And that's everyone always talks about drinking the Kool-Aid and ECW and stuff like that. And what they're referencing, I mean, some people are referencing it in a negative sense. But if you look at it from a positive sense, he had that. I mean, fans like myself, we only got to really see that on like Beyond the Mat, right? Like, yeah. But that speech that he gave.
But it was real.
Right. And but you look at that and you're just like, that is straight out of any sports movie. We're down by whatever and it's halftime and we need to go back out there. And, he had that ability to.
It's like the movie Any Given Sunday, the fucking Al Pacino speech in Any Given Sunday and shit like that. It was straight up like that and motivation and he would talk to you and he could talk to you and then you go walk on fucking broken glass or whatever or hot coals.
And people say the same, they say the same thing about Vince McMahon that like I've heard many times. You'd walk into his office, you're all puffed up, you're ready to go, you're pissed about something. Today is the day, I'm going to put my foot down. You leave feeling like $1 million. You possibly have less than you had when you went in, but he has somehow turned it around to make you feel so good about yourself.
That you forgot what you went in there to talk about.
And it's just, that's a talent for sure. But Paul Heyman,
I kind of had one of those meetings with Vince after the whole JBL thing and they flew me into Sacramento and I'm standing there thinking this is going to be a fucking hit job. Like fucking Johnny Ace is like, yeah, you're going over on JBL, you're hitting the moonsault, all this stuff. And I'm just, I talked to John and I'm still fucking uneasy about the whole thing. And then Triple H comes over and goes, hey man, you okay? I was like, yeah, I'm a little nervous. He's like, he's like, look, nothing's going to happen in the match. He's like, you know what? Hold on. And he comes back and he brings me into Vince's office and, Vince is watching promo reels of Hogan Knows Best. And he's sitting there with a steak like, and Meanie, go have a seat. And like, there's like this room where he's got the TV and he's having a steak. And I go over and they have these like L-shaped couches laid out. And I go sit there and it's just me, Triple H, Johnny Ace, and Vince. And like, I, gave my concerns and all this stuff. And then like, he's like, I guarantee you, Meanie, that if he does anything, he will be fired. And he talked to me. And by the meeting, I was just like, thanks for bringing me back out, man. Yeah, I was just like, oh, okay, whatever. But then we had the match, and they brought me back for a couple gimmicks, and that was it. But yeah.
But
Paul was a great motivator, man. He would really go into detail. I mean, I guess he's catching heat now for some of the creative with WWE, but that's just him being creative in the WWE bubble.
There's a lot.
He's working with handcuffs on.
Yeah, like I've listened to Eric Bischoff talk a decent amount on some of his shows about his experience most recently with WWE, and he'll be talking about things, and he'll be talking about how like certain aspects of stuff that he hates, and I hate this, I wish this went this way, or I wish that, and your first thought is, but dude, you were there, you were the guy, and then you realize very quickly not even the guy in his position could make those changes that Eric Bischoff wants to. So you look at it and you see Paul Heyman, and who knows, like you said, handcuffed, who knows how many ideas he had where it's just like, nope, not going to happen. He could have had the greatest idea, the greatest angle, the greatest anything, and could just be, nope, can't do that. So,
yeah. It's kind of like being a head coach of the Dallas Cowboys. Jerry Jones is the owner. You could be the coach, but Jerry Jones is the fucking owner.
Oh, I thought you were going to say when you tell the Cowboys, like, okay, here's the play, like, go do it, and then they just, don't know what the hell they're doing.
Hey, yeah.
We have no place to talk at this point.
No,
but hey, at least the Eagles aren't the Cowboys.
Yeah.
Fuck
the Cowboys.
Here's a fun one. We'll do it. We'll throw another one in here.
Sure.
Just because we're exhausted doesn't mean people should be cheated out of a full show. Anthony Camarada says, what is it with wrestlers' fixation with poop? Seems it is used as a rib a lot. Not judging, just seems weird.
I think just Vince has a thing for fucking poop humor.
Yeah.
Anytime you think of fucking poop gimmicks, it's always WWE.
Yeah.
Yeah. One time, I forget it was during the Attitude Era. I forget what it was, but I was walking by Richie from Magic, and I was walking by his laboratory, and he had like a fucking crate of fucking Little Debbie brownies. I'm like looking at him, and he's like, I gotta make poop. So he was making shit out of these like Little Debbie brownie things. And I was like, all right. So I just took a brownie and ate it. I was like, all right. Sometimes people, that was some of my favorite times at, WWE TV was just hanging out with Richie and Magic and just stuff like that, But, as far as poop, I don't know. I think it seems like a Vince thing. He's.
But I mean, you always hear the story. You hear Mark Henry's poop sandwich. You hear about Randy Orton pooping in people's bags.
That was just a sign of dominance. I don't know. I guess
I guess so.
Dude, there was this story. I don't even know if I talked about this one, but there was a European tour, and somebody shit in Sable's bag, and they were over in like England or Germany, and over in England and Germany, they shit in their bag, and her bag made it all the way back to the States. And her and Mark Morrow opened up their luggage back in the States, and they're like, oh my God, her shit. So I guess Sable was threatening to fucking sue or whatever. She wanted to get like a DNA sample from everybody in the locker room to tell whose poop it was. And I'll never forget these words. Fucking Steve Blackman, who was like one of my favorite people to be around in the locker room because of his ill temperament. But he's like, I'll shit in a bucket if she holds it. Steve Blackman was like, yeah, because they're like, oh, she wants to get everybody's fucking stool samples from that tour. He's like, I'll shit in a bucket if she holds it. Very as a matter of factly about it. I love Steve Blackman. Like traveling through an airport with Steve Blackman pre 9/11 was amazing because you go through, you get randomly checked, stopped at, sir, can I look in your bag? And you'd be like, oh, okay. I've watched Steve Blackman put his stuff on the fucking conveyor belt, walk through, no beep. There goes, sir, I need to look in your bag. He goes, no! Grabs his bag and he just keeps walking. And nobody says another fucking word to him. I'm like, how? And I double over fucking laughing. It's like, holy shit.
Wow.
So one time we're on a flight. I'm sitting in my seat and I see Steve Blackman getting on. And this old guy just stops in the middle of the plane and he's holding up the whole fucking airplane from boarding. He's like, slowly takes off his jacket, puts it in the overhead, slowly, gets his bag, puts it in the overhead. And I'm just looking at Steve Blackman, just like a kid, like waiting. Until I'm waiting for it. And just hear Steve Blackman go, come on! And the old man just hurries up and rushes to his seat and stuff like that just to see. And Steve Blackman was like, as much as I loved traveling with Steve Blackman, he said he loved traveling for me because the way I would sell for him. I would just fucking pop and sell for him, just like losing his shit in public and stuff like that.
That's amazing.
But he was a legit badass. He, anytime like they would have the fake cops, like they would have the indie guys come in and dress as cops for Raw or whatever. There was a time where like that I want to say it was Pittsburgh, and they had these fake cops. They had the real guns. Well, not real guns, but the guns that look like real cop guns or whatever. Mm-hmm. And he told Steve Blackman was like, aim your gun at me. So the indie guy with the fucking toy, costume gun aims at Steve Blackman. Steve Blackman does this thing where he smacked the gun out of the guy's hand, turned around, and he had the gun pointed at the guy with like split second. Just like, as a matter of fact, they're like, boom, boom, and he had to point it right back on the guy. So
that's
he's and then somebody else went and did it, and he fucking is like legit martial arts badass.
That's like Krav Maga stuff. You always hear, like that's nuts. I would love to be able to do that. Instead,
I love Steve Blackman, man.
I just keep dropping like my phone and stuff. But Steve Blackman, that's cool. I've never really heard any Steve Blackman stories.
He was a good dude, man. He is very dry wit, very dry. Like he'll say something straight faced, and you'll just fucking pop. And he meant it. He's kind of joking, but
not really.
A guy who could probably like fucking snap my neck with his pinky, and his thumb, not even his snapping his fingers. He's just like use his two weakest fingers. He probably snap somebody's neck. But badass martial artist. He was legit like prison guard too, so he's seen some shit.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
I said last question about 10 times, but I think we'll do just one more question.
Sure.
Again from James Sorensen asked what your favorite cheesecake is. Excuse me, your favorite cheesecake.
Oh, favorite cheesecake. Yeah, Miss Me said pumpkin cheesecake, which is probably spot on. Should I tell this?
Could you do a pumpkin Could you do a pumpkin cheesecake in like a different, like in the summer, or is that one where you feel like it's the fall? Like I want my pumpkin cheesecake now. It just doesn't matter.
That doesn't matter to me. It doesn't matter. We got a good story here. Hold on.
Okay. So before we were like together, I had this like checklist of like things that I was looking for in somebody that I would like to date. And I shortened it to one question, which was, would you join a cult if you were promised cheesecake? The answer's no, I would not join a cult. And like cheesecake is like the best, right? I mean, So I asked, would you join a cult if you were promised cheesecake? And his answer was, is there graham cracker crust? And then I fell in love with him. Because that wasn't an answer. That's not an answer. The answer's no. But I was like, yeah, you're right.
Well, a cheesecake without graham cracker crust is not a cheesecake, in my opinion.
I guess.
No, I think the graham cracker crust is what makes the whole thing.
That's like it. Yeah.
It makes the whole thing. I mean, it's still good. Don't get me wrong. It's still good, but it's not a cheesecake.
We're very into pumpkin cheesecake. We've been very into cheesecake right now. But pumpkin cheesecake, there's one at ShopRite that's really good. And then ShopRite has one that's it's like a mutant cheesecake crumb cake. Think like you have. Certainly it's got
We had it like 2 nights ago.
We had it like yesterday, but it's like half that. It's almost like a coffee cake. So it's like half the white cake part of like a coffee cake. Then it's the,
That's
cheesecake itself. And then it's like the coffee cake crumb on top. It's magical.
That is good. Hey,
Yeah.
while I have you here, 2 things. One, James Sorensen says, thank you, Mrs. Meanie. You're truly, truly amazing. Hope you know that. Please tell her, Josh.
Oh, you sweet boy.
And then there's another, he says he really enjoys your videos. I do as well. Jeffrey Mitchell had asked, if she's up for it, can we have a hashtag Ask Mrs. Meanie sometime?
No.
Well, there you go, Jeffrey Mitchell.
No. Jeffrey Mitchell, he's a troublemaker.
Can this be like a what if it was like $100 tier?
No,
Patreon?
I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't mind, but like, he's an adult man. Can't he like answer his own questions? Is this questions about him or about me? Because like,
No, about you. They'd be asking you questions, not for you to answer Meanie's questions.
Yeah, because like,
Although that is
I
helpful sometimes when he forgets.
that kind of is my entire shtick on the show.
Yeah, I love it. You're like, I don't want to answer his questions, but that's literally what you're here for on the show.
I maybe, I don't know.
Okay, well, we'll think about it.
Maybe someday.
Okay.
And I've wanted to do videos. I'm going through some things right now. I'm not really in a video making mood, but soon. I would have liked to have made another Halloween one, but my life is a dumpster fire.
There'll be many more Halloweens to come here at Mind of the Meanie.
So yeah, soon.
Cool.
Soon. And I'm working on, like he said, moving stuff around and like making an area for us to do our thing.
Yeah, which makes it so much easier.
I've actually started to pull out the desk in the middle room. I need your help. Okay. Certainly not right now, but that's going to happen.
Yeah.
I've made a terrible mistake.
Oh man,
That's our go-to line. I've made a mistake.
It's like Arrested Development. What's his name? Job.
Right.
What is he? Does he always say like I made a huge mistake?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, one day I was getting in the shower, and Mrs. Meanie watched me just get in the shower and then turn the water on. She's like, "Did you just get in the shower without letting it warm up?" And I just went, "I made a mistake." And since then, that's become our thing. I've like I said, going, "Yeah, I fucked up." I go, "I made a mistake."
Yeah. That's awesome.
But we were going to have we're going to have our own little studio pretty soon.
Awesome. I'm excited to see that.
Me too.
Yeah.
Me too.
I think it's gonna just make the experience that much more enjoyable. And we hope that this has been an enjoyable experience for everybody.
Samesies.
Yeah, that's it for Ask Meanie, and kind of I feel like we're like this is the shortest episode we've ever done. I mean, we're over 2 hours, so it's amazing that for us, I'm like, oh man, like we're really phoning it in here.
And there's some people are like, thank God.
Yeah, but I will say tomorrow, which is Sunday, we will be doing a watch along, And we will be doing a Zoom call immediately following the watch along. I will send out all the Zoom information tomorrow. I guess. I don't really know what to do, but we're going to figure it out. So
we're learning
Patreon
on the
members.
fly.
So if you're listening to this on Monday, you missed it. So don't miss it next month. Make sure you sign up for patreon.com/mindofthemeanie. We're having so much fun over there. Meanie.
Absolutely.
Instead of, you know what? Let's
Hey,
do,
you know what?
Yeah?
Before we go, I want to put over Mrs. Meanie's Etsy page.
Oh, you must.
Because I didn't want to say Pinterest. That's why I did that long. No, seriously, go over to Etsy. Look up Pinned for the Win. Mrs. Meanie has some very cool sticker packs. And here she comes to tell you all about it. Hold on.
Okay, so there's stickers, and there's still Blue Meanie fun packs, and there's pins, and every order now is going to come with 4x6s. So why is it so dark in here? I know that only the people watching can see this, but like, why is it so dark? And as I turn on the light for it to end, but I have 4x6s of the tea party
Oh, it's
that
awesome.
I took of the Blue Meanie with Brian Heffron. I have all kinds of 4x6s that will be autographed to you with every purchase. There's this magical one.
Oh, it's so cool. You need to
And that
see
one
this.
will have my autograph on it as well, but you don't get to pick. They're random. So if you put in an order, you might get my autograph as well, because I have one of those now. But I took these pictures, I photoshopped these pictures, and they are all included. Well, one will be included with every order at Pin for the Win on Etsy.
Awesome.
So yeah, man, she did an excellent job. She spent countless hours, drawing so many stickers, and then countless hours photoshopping me the tea party photo and all
So
that
cool.
stuff. So
That one is so cool.
head over to Etsy and look up Pin for the Win and show Mrs. Meanie some love.
And before we go here, I think we should also just talk a little bit about where you can get some merchandise. This is the first time I think someone has actually bought something from our show live on the air. But yeah, you can go to prowrestlingtees.com/mindofthemeanie for all the great Mind of the Meanie shirts. We have over there right now, there is a Blue Meanie Halloween shirt. So go get it now before it's gone. Well, it won't be gone, but it'll just be out of season. And of course, if you want to support the Blue Meanie, go to prowrestlingtees.com/Blue Meanie. Every BWO imaginable shirt you could want from here to Japan over there. We've got prowrestlingtees.com/Says Shernoffâ for shirts like what I'm wearing. Sarcasm is my superpower. And then, of course, there is collarandelbowbrand.com, promo code Meanie. You can get some awesome shirts like what Meanie is wearing right there. What is that you're wearing there?
This is the collar and elbow. It's like the Heineken.
Yep. Irish
logo.
whip.
Yep.
Love it.
Al Snow and Rod Hicks are doing amazing work over there. They just put out the Van Halen themed collar and elbow logo shirt, which I've been wearing nonstop. So head over there, use promo code Meanie, and save 10%.
And what else do we have to plug? Anything?
Go to cameo.com/Blue Meanie. BWO, and get yourself a custom video from the Blue Guy, whether it's a birthday, a wedding, graduation, anything.
Reveal that won't burn the town
and
down.
as long as it's not something mean, I don't really want to torch anybody. So, go over to cameo.com/Blue Meanie BWO, and I'll give you a well wish.
And we give all of you well wishes, and we thank you so much for joining us here. Next week, big announcement, really, really big announcement. So make sure that you tune in and join our Patreon if you wanted a day early. But we will be back next week. I guess this was our Halloween-themed episode. Nailed it. Hey, follow us on social media. Somebody else just ordered more merchandise from us. I just got a notification. We love you guys. You guys are awesome.
Gonna make me blush.
Yeah, we can't thank you enough. It is so cool to be able to interact with you. So cool for you to want our merchandise. Again, you can get all that stuff at ProWrestlingTees.com/MindOfTheMeanie or on our Patreon, patreon.com/MindOfTheMeanie. Visit us on social media at Mind of the Meanie across all platforms. He is at Blue Meanie BWO. I'm at Says Shernoff. I kind of wanted to do that, and we are out of time, but that's Conrad's gimmick, so I'm not going to steal it. So yeah, join us again next Monday for another trip into the mind of the Meanie.
Blue World Order.
The world of MLW